The merchants scream as terror erupts through the marketplace. Goblins! Goblins. Those are just stories. Children's tales for those fortunate enough to have vegetables they'll not finish. No, this can't be right. As the boy goes to stand, his legs, peppered with fragments of splintered wood and broken glass, fail him. He reluctantly turns to scream, but he cannot find his voice, as the creature has found his throat first. With a crushing grip, the boy is hoisted into the air, and his screams amount to nothing, as slender, leathery fingers wrap tightly around his neck. He grabs his knife, still attached to his apron's holster, and in what strength he can muster, drives it towards the creature's chest. But as the rough skin of the creature resists the boy's meager strength, the blade chips, and the goblin snickers. Welcome, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. I hope you're enjoying these little stories. I'm enjoying writing them, so I hope we all continue to enjoy everything. That's an order! If you like the content, feel free to leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. And leave a comment in the suggestion box to tell us how well we did or how well we did not. Thank you for listening. And without further ado, it's time to open up shop. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello again.
I promise I'm enjoying the episode.
Good. You get gold, 5 gold to everyone who enjoyed. That's not true.
Nice.
Don't take that.
Oh, I almost got you.
No, I give no punishments and no proper goodness. None for you. You all get nothing but tribulation. Great! Last time, at a decisive moment, the Deviants defeat the angelic monstrosity within the basement of the Zemayatel cult and witnessed a celestial being freed from captivity from the basement. As they were gathering their spoils, they were visited by Akadi, the Lady of the Winds. Lavos being chewed out and congratulated by the goddess in equal measure. In the exterior of the city limits, the party reconvenes and went to the interface office to gain a tithe of information about strange happenings of orcs appearing through rifts in the north of the city. Registering their new ranks, the party gains more fame, and the family begins to grow, as Lavos offers to care for the unconscious humans who were treated with these strange yellow and red drugs. Jojo gains a few shrubs to add to her growing family, and the party prepares over the following 2 months for infiltrating this coming mission of the Mystra family within Ironhall. And as they begin their preparation, we jump back in. First thing, Vincent, before we had left in the last episode, you said you wanted to take a loan out in the bank. So let me go ahead and tally your current fame to see what you are worth. Your fame is 100% what you're worth.
Vincent's going to
nothing else.
He's already wearing a pretty nice suit. He's wearing one of his wealthy ones with his underlining of studded armor. Yeah, he's gonna prestidigitation, make himself look good for the interview. The loan out. I don't know, and he's gonna. He doesn't have any spell slots, so he can't cast on himself. But let me know if a base persuasion check will be needed.
So as you guys have gained fame in the Akadi district, the Emerald Gates. Vincent, your fame has increased. And as the name of the family grows throughout the area, the family's fame itself has grown pretty substantially. You can take out up to 3,600 gold pieces from the bank if you so wish to do so.
He will.
Okay. First off, you arrive in a nice suit, and as you prepare and you're clean and you stride forward, they look at you and they're just adequate, bare minimum. As you show yourself and you run through this this lengthy process to determine what you are worth and how you are worth, go ahead and roll for me a persuasion check. This will not affect the outcome of the gold that you receive, simply how this entire situation unfolds.
Do I have advantage or disadvantage for some reason?
Straight roll. You seem to have met their standards, so you do not have
17.
disadvantage. 17. As you leave, the person just ushers a single adequate. Having changed their mind throughout this wonderful situation. There were laughs and there were tears and it was very awkward. Typically they don't cry during a meeting, but he's had a rough day. And as you leave, they shore up their jacket and pull back their slicked black hair. And you leave the bank with a sturdy sum, 3,600 gold pieces.
Well, it'll stay in my bank account, but I will retrieve it soon.
And with that, you must pay back this bank in due time. We begin our downtime. Is there anything else people wanted to? We did a little bit of shopping off session, and we bought some potions to keep everybody flush and prepped and happy. And we move now into the game. Go ahead, Matilda.
I wanted to ask about the black gem. I said what it was and I forgot promptly, so...
Black gemstone. Do you have any more information on that?
The one that was calling out to me.
Oh, that is the Dark Shard Amulet.
Okay. And also, I found this cool skull rock before we went into the farm.
You did.
I wanted to get Killian to identify it.
It is just a cool looking rock in the shape of the skull.
Cool, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
It is a particularly cool rock. But as you hold on to all of these items, we begin our downtime. So, first things first. I want to take money from you all. I am the worst.
I mean, yes, but...
How many of you work during your downtime? Now, this will be a slot of your downtime.
Do not.
Do not? Ooh, that's going to be money.
How much slots do we have?
Matilda, you no longer live in your own home. You live now within the family home, so you no longer pay rent. Yeah. You guys still pay for food and gear and upkeep, but investing in the family home can potentially mitigate costs of downtime even further. As you look onwards, we begin. Jojo does not work. Killian, do you work?
So, whether or not I work is kind of dependent on what Jojo needs from me to prepare for the mission. If there's not anything really in Killian's wheelhouse, then she might just work.
I just needed you and Vincent to work together, possibly on making some Lyrian order symbols.
Okay. Vincent can only spend one of his slots helping out the family. So if that's what we want him on, then he can help with that. I don't know if we can be more general, like we just help make the disguises for the trip, which can include these.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that, yeah.
That'd be great. Awesome.
That's totally one single action.
If that's the case, Vincent, do you need help with that, or do you feel pretty confident?
Well, I would roll forgery, and I think he would roll tinkering, because it kind of requires both.
Right. Okay. Okay, then I will not be working this downtime.
Okay. We can go one down at a time. So we will actually begin with Jojo. Instead of like doing a general for everybody and then going through everyone specifically. Okay. Jojo, we begin with you. What are your 3 things that you want to do?
My 3 things. First one, I'm going to decrypt Shiana's giant ledger.
Okay.
Illegal activities.
Illegal activities. Go ahead and roll investigation on that.
Investigation normale. 12.
It takes a not insignificant amount of time to accomplish this. Jojo, the ledger contains a wealth of information on money that is going to and from the city of Helianth to the north. Helianth used to be in opposition to Amaranth during the wars previously against the Dianthian Empire. And as someone being trained in history, you would know these things in general. But a lot of this money laundering, as far as you can tell by your investigation of it, seems to be drawn. There's a lot of like statues being built that are very specifically like statue this like 1,700 gold pieces, which just seems ludicrous. Like 1,500 gold pieces, 1,700 gold pieces. There's a lot of payments to and from this previous group of pioneers and privateers is what they are marked as. But from Shiano's own words, you understand this to be payments to pirates for the movement of these people, including you imagine, not explicitly documented, but the movement of changelings to and from different areas of various different continents. Large amounts of some moving in various different directions, and all under the explicit purchase receipts of the Goldwater Trading Company. You have a wealth of incredibly incriminating evidence within your hands. And that is what you gain from your first section of downtime. all decrypted and set aside with like red strings and the entire board
Yeah.
all set up wonderfully. And what is your second thing?
Second thing, if I wanted to research either like the Lyrian order or the area and culture, that's like two different things, right?
Yes, they especially recently, it seems like the fact that they are there is not a typical thing. So you could research the group itself or Ironhall's area and the history surrounding.
Oh, I think Lyrian order or Ironhall. I think she's going to research the Lyrian order. Seems more important.
Okay, you do know that that is among the more difficult topics. So there's a good chance you might not dig anything up because this group, as it has been explained to you before, was like mercenary as far as you can tell, and has recently grown in power.
Okay, so it might be better to just do the area and just know that I'll get information.
It's definitely it. There's so the
Okay,
Lyrian order would be trickier information. It'd be harder roll, but you could potentially gain information that other people don't have, or you could gain a wealth of information about Ironhall itself because that is well documented.
What do you guys think?
I think knowing about the area would be better because we're supposed to pretend to be from that area, and if we go in there not knowing, more likely we'll be found out. So that's riskier. That obviously knowing about the order would help us just in like at the back end of things, but I think the front end might be more important to sneak in.
Yeah, I'll look into Ironhall and Bali.
Okay. Go ahead and roll investigation. Do you have proficiency in history?
I do.
Excellent. Just confirming again, I actually have your character sheet up, but I always like to ask for some reason. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Awesome that it had advantage. 17.
With a 17. Ironhall was an ancient dwarven mine. One of the very first mines to produce mithril, which was a merger of elvish and dwarvish smithing techniques. It amounts to among the most brilliant and wonderful metals known to anybody this side of the known world. But in a strategic battle that came to be known as the Battle of Blood and Iron, a Valian nobleman named Ricard Fairmont, 120 years ago, used the metals within the mine towards the Dianthian war effort against Amaranth, and to protect their own shores against Aboria and Cernan naval assaults. Now, after this battle, the dwarves were exiled from the mine as the Valian nobles overtook Ironhall, and the human workers moved in, unable to work the dwarven forges. Ironhall began to fail, and then after the war ended, Amaranth began to attempt to supply them. Now, there's like a lot of, as you look into the history, there's tons of back and forth and various different names, but for the most part, unable to work the dwarven forges and the smithing machines, the dwarves were eventually brought back in, but were enslaved. And this is not something that they will ever forget or forgive. They just shared the very concept of forcing someone to do something in dwarvish society is completely and utterly alien to them, and it is just disgusting. Not that it is not to the humans, but in this area, especially, this is among the first times that the dwarves have actively had these just repeated atrocities done against them by the humans who they chose to join forces with when the elves and the dwarves split in ancient history. The dwarves were brought back and forced to work the forges until eventually they revolted and gained their freedom. Battles ensued, but the heavily fortified city was well defended, and the dwarves did not give up an inch. Ricard Fairmont died at the age of 58, and the humans had lost their strategic mine in Ironhall and the rights to their rightful owners. Looking on towards all of this is just poverty, constant wartime, and frustration and aggression. Amaranth comes in, begins to supply them, and begins to take their ore back to the city, especially with the aid of Moradin. A lot of this money siphoned to and from Ironhall. Also, being under Lathander's guise, Moradin himself and the entire deanery taking a large portion of this money. And resupplying it into the city. There's a significant amount of history here, but to summarize, war occurred. The Valiant nobles attempted to overtake Ironhall. The dwarves fought back and took it back. And then at that point, humans were tentatively allowed within the city. And now, for some reason, everything's just going absolutely mad and churning within the city walls. Quite a bit of studying and quite a bit of history that you gain there.
Perfect. I don't suppose you could send me that later.
Absolutely.
I tried to take notes, but I'm sure I missed a ton.
No worries. I have it all written down here.
And my third one, the most important one, obviously, is that I get some nice fertilizer and some nice pots. And I set up these little pots in like just in the back of like JoJo's room for my new little awakened shrubs that I have named Rose, Mugo, and Quince.
Feed me, JoJo.
Yeah. And she's just sort of like, I don't know what you guys need. I gotta figure out what you want. Do they just like follow her everywhere? Is she able to be like, stay and then like go out for the day and then come back? Or
if you command them, they follow your commands to the letter.
okay, awesome.
They're like following you and you're like, stop, and they just stop. And you're like, okay. And you walk away and they just sit there and stare at you as you leave and you come back and you're like,
I think one of the things that she does with the remainder of this downtime is she sort of like trains them to like help out around the house, like help out Vincent's mother would be really adorable. Or like
her little horrifying.
a little horde of shrubs. And also I definitely bring them by the Lavender Cafe to introduce to Ron and be like, I have children now apparently, and they're plants. And she also gets them to help around the cafe when like while she's there.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. I love it.
Can
So good.
have eyeballs like the original Sonic had eyeballs, which are just like really horrifying?
Just a single morphed eyeball.
I imagine
connects
they
with the middle.
don't really have eyeballs,
No.
right?
You could glue
No.
some like googly eyes on them. But
Oh, can you put googly eyes on them?
They have little black dots that seem to resemble eyes, but as far as you can tell, don't function as eyes.
Yeah, so that's what her downtime is.
Excellent. You forge a strong bond with these creatures, and they seem to now be, at this point, just at your beck and call as you begin to understand the abilities of them.
How much is some nice fertilizer in pots?
Let's say, some nice pots. That's about 6 silver.
Okay, great. I'll take out 6 silver.
Oh man,
And
they're
some
so
nice
happy.
pot.
Yeah, I also get them high.
One of these creatures just becomes a pot plant, and now you gain 200 gold. No, I'm just kidding. As you spend your time with them, time begins to pass on. I have copied the entire history here. There is more, but I'll let you cycle through it on your leisure. There is one little bit of information that I will state.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, there's quite a bit of lore there. There's one bit of information here. These battles against the humans and the dwarves continued to attempt to reclaim the mine until the house was eventually indicted in a plot to assassinate the Dianthian imperial family and was executed. House was dissolved and its assets were dispersed, thus ended the war between the humans and the dwarves in Ironhall. And that was only very, very recently that occurred.
Wasn't that who my character was like supposed to marry?
Precisely.
Yeah.
In the past. But that's a different universe.
Sorry.
Well, it's not.
okay.
This
No, it's
universe,
this
it was a
exact
different
universe.
time.
It's a different time, man. It was like 4 months ago.
But my character would have died, I'm assuming, right? They would have killed her.
Who knows?
Oh shit.
As we cycle through, the next person to gain downtime is Killian. What do you do with your DT?
So, just a real quick question. Vincent, is your first slot going to be preparing for the mission?
I don't think it really matters as long as we get it done.
Okay.
You could put it wherever and I'll slot it in.
Okay. I want to do that first because it's kind of first and foremost in Killian's mind.
Oh, actually, sorry. First slot has to be something else because I can hopefully gain money from it. So yeah, at least the second slot. Thank you for confirming.
All good.
I was like, it doesn't matter. I was like, wait, it does.
It doesn't matter. I'll do it first then. Ooh, can't do first.
Ooh, yeah.
Sorry,
It's not
I wasn't
gonna work
really
for
thinking about
me.
it until I thought about it.
That's very Vincent. I love that.
All right. Then I'm gonna ask Morgan to train Arcana with me.
Okay. How long do you spend on this? So you have 56 days. You can spend no more than a third of it. So that is 18 days that you can create of this.
All right. Then 18 days it is.
So you need, it's 8 hours, 250 hours, 18 days at 8 hours a day. You gain 144 hours towards Arcana proficiency. And 18 days times 250 gold. No, it's a gold piece a day.
You said 144?
I'm sorry, we are talking about days. Never mind. So it's not 8 hours, it's not hours. 250 days. So you can subtract 18 from the amount of days it takes to train Arcana. So 250 minus 18.
One extra on top of that, so you have 19 days.
I had 2 days.
Okay.
So I'm at 20 now.
So you have 230 days remaining. And that is 18 gold pieces. Takes quite a while to train a proficiency.
All right. Removed. Perfect.
I'm assuming in that time frame, what's her face moved into the family home?
So I will actually touch on that post, and then we can determine what happens through the downtime. And then that is your first slot, and now your second slot is alongside Vincent.
So that depends. Which slot is Matilda doing chemistry prep for the dungeon?
It doesn't, like, slot 1, 2, and 3 don't really matter, like, chronologically. We can say that they occur at any point in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I was like sitting here like math meme trying to figure out like when Killian should
we'll
be
make
doing
it work.
things.
Well, Vincent has his schedule out. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So at least a portion of the time is going to be spent with Killian preparing for the dungeon. So essentially building out the, like, was it like a weave?
It's like a silver lining.
Yeah, silver lining for our clothes so that we can, like, survive the heat.
Be sexy but not melt.
Fourth floor.
Hot but not hot.
Hot but not burned.
Vincent will request that you guys just give him a roll enough to cover, like, his outfit, and then he'll get it customized.
So let me go ahead. Yeah, basically you guys are attempting to make like an insulated lining, a roll of it. Let me go ahead and look at your guys' proficiencies. And your tool proficiencies, considering you can theoretically have any tool proficiency, I would say Matilda, with your understanding of...
Well, alchemy makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
With your understanding of alchemy, and Killian with your understanding of smithing.
Everything else.
Everything all of the other tools. Together, you may both roll an alchemy check with advantage. With the two of you working together here, this should be quick work.
Okay. What does an alchemy check look like?
Age? Is it int?
Oh, I'm sorry. This will be intelligence with proficiency. Because you guys have sheer amounts of time, it won't be constitution or dexterity.
Okay.
Nice.
Ooh.
So 8 plus 3, basically.
Yeah, hold on. Plus, where is it? On the keyboard. There we go. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
It is with advantage too, so if you hit
Can
normal,
you tell I don't type for... Oh, can I guide myself?
I don't think it's needed.
Don't need to.
Here's what I'll say. You did guide yourself, and your guys' rolls were exceptional. So as both of you continue working on this, you find that this silver lining does not involve silver in any kind of way. What you create is this sheet of padded silvered material that you extract through this alchemical process, and this also includes your research into the subject. But as you are pulling at threads, you eventually find this this just insulation that ends up through the end of its alchemical life, turning into this just bright silver. It's like a thin lining and can absolutely fit in between clothing. But as you place it around yourselves, you can definitely feel the warmth of your body like being trapped within, and like placing yourself against these just vicious sources of heat, placing your hand above flames, feel virtually nothing from the exterior.
We're just basically the inside of cooler bags. That's all
Yeah.
I can picture.
You guys have created an insulated lining for your clothing that will allow you to traverse an area of the dungeon that would otherwise be incredibly difficult. and you may add that narrative item to your inventory. You have enough here to cover basically 5 creatures.
So
us
Us and
4 and
Paka.
Paka.
would Paka and my imp be able to make one person?
No.
Would the imp need it?
The
Oh,
imp
no, the
is...
imp's immune to fire. He
Yeah.
didn't need it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mo's good. Mo's good.
I just really want us to make like these suits that are like shiny things that look like those like weird like coats from like streetwear, you know, like the fucking
No.
like shiny poofy coats.
I don't want
like,
to be thrust back to the
I
early
know
90s.
Vincent won't, but Matilda doesn't give a shit. It's
I
like
think
a
you
tiny
guys-
little girl, just like.
You guys look like you've walked out of that museum that's just like, the people of the future. Look at them now in their
Picturing
stupid
the-
silver suits.
I'm picturing the aliens from like Bill and Ted's.
It's somewhat puffy. So you guys, like, you can place it in your clothes, but you'll be kind of walking around a little bit like half a Michelin
Oh,
man.
poof vest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vincent brings him it in and gets it tailored so it's not as puffy.
Most excellent. And I might be missing something. Killian, that was 2 of your 3. What is your third?
That was 2. The third one is preparing for the mission, which will be alongside.
We're gonna make disguises.
Vincent.
Essentially, we're gonna forge those symbols, and like Vincent's going to figure out the materials that are needed and get Tristan to sew us up some outfits that fit us all.
Most excellent. So let's do the roll for that one as well. So in this instance, this will be a forgery kit or disguise kit, your choice. And Killian, what tools are you attempting to use for this one?
I assumed it was going to be Smith's tools.
Yeah, because you're gonna have
Excellent.
to make those metal symbols.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The-
So with both of you working once again in tandem, that will be advantage on this check for both of your guys' proficiencies and abilities.
For the forgery one, is that int or is that dex or wisdom?
This one, I think you could argue into wisdom or dex in order for like a calm hand and a slow kind of methodical movement.
Slow hand.
I think
what about
Vincent
the,
would probably use
The
wisdom.
smithing one?
Smithing will be because you're attempting to remake a specific item. You could do con, dex, wisdom, or intelligence, I think, with any of
Go
these.
con.
Alrighty.
And we have advantage on it?
Yes,
You do.
and you can add your proficiency.
Because
Cool.
JoJo knows how you are, Vincent, she would have let you know that if you guys need her to cover costs, that she would do it.
You know him, but I'm gonna see if Adrian charges us.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give you guys the full charge at the end of all of this because I have to do your cost for just existing as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely impeccable. You guys create costumes for each of yourselves that make you look like what you had seen previously in Mistra's basement. These just commoners' clothing, but with specific flares to them that you guys managed to recognize through your knowledge of fashion. You pull those and you implant them into new clothing for yourselves, which is basically just loose-fitting rags, but again with specific pleats and locations of various different items that will be recognizable by the Lyrian Order, according to Mystra herself. And the symbols that you have, the symbol of the Lyrian Order, has been recreated in these small copper symbols, I believe they were, in just perfect detail. Even weathering, you've made it look like dozens of years older than it currently is.
Awesome.
And as we cycle through, so Matilda and Vincent, you now both have 2 things you can do. Matilda, you are up.
I would like my first thing to do is I go into my little dungeon closet and I obsessively write down all the notes and stuff that we have of the dungeon so far and just kind of like make a chronological thing and just get started on that so we have everything documented.
Here's what I will. Okay. I don't think you need to roll for that. I think you spend some time also just examining and moving through as you rifle through Shiana's notes. You also take note that applying a mixture of diluted salt with blood, which is what that kind of reddish vial was that she was attempting to utilize onto the thing, makes it soften slightly, and then burning it can cause this kind of almost euphoric high in people. So
Oh,
that's
Make drugs
something.
out of it.
That's a bit of information that you gain via the torch bloom itself. Do you attempt that?
Oh my god, let's all do it.
Okay. Like, does she? I guess none of us know, but go ahead.
do I lose a slot if I do it?
That's up to you.
I don't want to.
You very well might. Okay, that's totally fine.
I will save that for a later date. Matilda will file that information away.
You gain this information. What do you do with your last slot?
Well, basically, for that one, all I really wanted to do is lay out all the information that we've accumulated out of the dungeon, just so that when Matilda goes back to do research later, she just like has a point of to start from. Because there's like a lot of theories that she has that are kind of like, she also wants to kind of follow the story of the dungeon too. Because we have been noticing there's a bit of a story to it, so she kind of wants to like lay that out to make sense too. That makes sense. Just to like, kind of put all the information that we have and kind of put it in an order that makes more sense. And then the third one that I want to do. It's okay, we did that. What was the third one that Matilda wanted? I know that I was thinking about it and now I forgot. Oh, I want to make like the weird fire stuff, the alchemical things that I could make.
Alchemy fire?
Yeah, alchemy fire.
Oh, the alchemist fire? For sure.
Yeah.
So because you have proficiency in alchemy, all you need to do is spend an amount of time and an amount of gold equal to half the cost of the item. So
And then she'd have to
fire.
go to her alchemy thingy and craft it there, because I don't think we have an alchemist.
Because if we don't have one yet, then maybe would it be better to wait?
You could buy one. It's only like 50 gold.
Actually, I think I reduced that even further with alchemy.
Can't I also just go to one of my parents' houses? Don't they have something like that or no? Not quite,
For
probably. No, never mind.
you have an herbalist, a poisoner, and Mama Mal's not an alchemist, is she?
No, I don't think so,
No.
no.
So alchemy, field crafting. Go ahead and roll also just a alchemy check, which in this case could be Constitution, Dexterity, Intelligence, or Wisdom.
Why can't it be Charisma? No, I'm kidding.
Work! I will force of personality this shit to completion.
I mean, I am a warlock, but is that just normal?
With proficiency, not advantage though. 10. 10 is the DC. 10 is the DC. So that is 25. I'm now attempting to determine whether or not we make it what I had previously set up for alchemy, or whether we go by the raw rules. So what I had set up takes a lot less time. But so that's 25. Yeah, we'll do mine. We'll do 25 gold pieces, and it only takes 2 hours to distill this stuff. So you can distill as much as you want to purchase, basically, worth of alchemical reagents. 25 gold pieces for one, and the amount of time is virtually pointless at this point.
I ask my party if they want any, because I'm going to be
Just
doing
for
this.
my knowledge, so I can use it in the future, we now have an alchemy kit at the house? Or like, where is this being crafted?
She works at an alchemist shop.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you went there. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your question just now, Tamara?
Who would like some?
Of what?
The alchemy fire.
fire.
So alchemy fire, when you it's a
Oh.
little bottle. When you throw it, it does 1d4 fire damage onto the creature it lands on.
It sticks to them, right?
I don't think
yes.
it burns.
A
Unless
creature
they're-
can end this damage by using its action to make a DC 10 dexterity check to extinguish the flames.
How
Yeah,
long does it
basically-
last for?
It lasts for... It doesn't say. Oh, it's so
Forever.
here. I'll just read it out fully. Apparently. This sticky adhesive fluid ignites when exposed to air. As an action, you can throw the flask up to 20 feet, and it shatters on impact, making a ranged attack against a creature or object, treating the alchemist fire as an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes 1d4 fire damage at the start and end of its turns, and a creature can end this damage by using its action to make a dex check to extinguish the flames. So it hurts them twice, and they need to spend their action on their turn to stop it.
That's awesome.
But how
Yeah,
long
I
does
would
it
take-
last?
It just lasts until they stop it. Like, it will burn them until it
Indefinitely?
burns them away. Yes.
Okay, crazy. Yeah, I want like 2 of those. If you
Yeah,
can
it
make one for
makes-
Bo.
It makes sense because it's not just fire. It's like a
It's
chemical
napalm.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
chemical fire does not just go out when you stop, drop, and roll. You're fucked if it's chemical fire.
Unless you're fast. You just go, ba 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 ba.
Yeah,
DC 10 dex.
Vincent will want 2 of those. I don't know if you. How much would you charge him for it?
25 gold each? That's how much it costs to make it.
Cool. So he'll take 2 of those.
Okay, so Vincent 50 gold, and Matilda however many else people want to buy. Jojo, do you want the Alchemist Fire?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay, so that's 25 gold, Jojo. And Killian, do you want the Alchemist Fire?
Killian's good.
Okay.
And
So
you said it, and then what is it? Is it a dex or a strength? Like, how do I throw this shit? Like,
it's a ranged attack roll as an improvised weapon, so
It's dex.
not proficiency with dexterity.
okay.
It's a
Did you say it's
dex
25
check to
gold?
throw.
Indeed.
Buying this from Matilda?
You're buying it for
Now.
you.
Ah.
Here's my thing. Does it pour out?
It's like it's super sticky. You got to smash it against someone, and then when it hits oxygen, it immediately ignites.
Yeah, if you were to uncork it, it would explode in your hand. It
Okay,
ignites the moment it hits oxygen.
Okay, cool.
So how many do you buy, Matilda?
I will buy 2 for myself that
Excellent.
I will make. So I will mark off 50 gold. I will send a check to the bank. Be like, I am 50 gold.
50 gold, please, thank you. And mission complete. Okay, and that is the final of your downtime bits.
Oh
Circling
no, how
through.
much does it cost to live?
Oh, not yet. Vincent, you're up. 2
Oh
left.
no.
So the first one Vincent's going to want to do is taking his loan up from the bank. He's gonna like obviously go home and rest that night, and the next day he's gonna start putting into action, getting into contact with his contacts, such as if he needs to Carmina to open an action like a storefront in the Ishtar's district. I don't know how long it will take. He's okay purchasing an old building, but it will need to be refigured into what he wants it to be.
You can go ahead and roll a charisma check, because with an open task from the Valentine family, walking in and being like, "Hey, I have a favor,"
No,
might be a
that's
little
not what
difficult. But
sorry, that's not what I meant. Just pulling on his connection. So like if they need validation that he can build a thing in here, he can give them Carmina's name. But he would approach like whether it be a construction company or anyone that does stuff within Ishtar's district or a renovation company.
okay, basically that amounts to requesting from the Ishtar family itself permission to purchase. So let me check your fame.
He was already, at least from Carmina's, he already got the go ahead that it was okay.
In the district, Ishtar is part of the Marble Slates. No problem. As you approach the district and you request access to Ishtar's district in order to attempt to create and build some kind of building on their premises, they give you the go-ahead pretty quickly. You get a few days.
Okay. He wants to get like a sizable chunk of land, but he's only going to be building a smaller shop on it right now.
Okay. What is it you were attempting to purchase? A large storefront?
I don't think I can afford it right now, so he's going to invest 4,000 into the storefront, so it'd be like in between a medium and a large. And it is going to be a jazz lounge. It's going to be called the Heart's Desires, and it is going to have also his offices in the back for the normal Heart's Desires. Along with that, he's going to separate his he's going to have still business cards for the Black Sheep, but he's going to print out a new set of business cards for just the Heart's Desires.
Oh boy, new business cards. Who dis?
Every time I see how much passive income shows up from this. So, who do you have at current among your people to run this? If you are purchasing a pre-existing building, which you absolutely can, they are available within the district. That will cost you 2,500 gold, and then you have another 1,500 you invest into it.
Yes. And like the only thing I would probably do is steal one of the girls or guys from the hostesses as like a bartender and like servant, like just one waitress or waiter. General manager wise, I don't really have any specifically one in mind. He'd put some interviews up or take the closest he can get for now until he can find someone, because he hasn't been able to find an assistant that's adequately
Just Mo in a
Great.
trench coat.
Please. Honestly, Lavos is actually willing to take up this opportunity. Just be like, I got lots of experience dealing with people, and I work
Vincent
real
would
hard,
trust
boss.
Lavos with this.
Lavos is willing to take this up at the moment because as he is preparing, he's basically looking for things he can aid you guys with in this. And as you begin to go,
He's going to make some money off of this, and it'll go back to the family, so he's fine with that.
and as this all begins to encircle around, basically because the cost of land was 500 gold, you're burning that. That doesn't get added to the value. So you have 3,500 gold pieces in your business, which earns you a sizable passive income.
While we're doing our downtime, can we see what we can do to upgrade our manor? Because we have some money.
Vincent's broke now, but you guys can feel free.
Well, I want
Sorry.
to. Well, no, we have like collective money in the.
Yeah, I think we have, Adrian said, like
You do.
800 or something.
So let me bring up the ledger. The ledger's huge, the things that you can currently build, but you are limited by what you've built already and the people that you have in your family.
Yeah.
So as I pop open your guys' Old Town ledger, you can currently hire a butler or a servant. You can hire a cook. But basically, you guys have put money into the main manor, and it is now modest. If you want to bring it up and you guys can increase your quality of living from modest to comfortable to wealthy to aristocratic, that costs money. You guys have 750-ish, 720 gold pieces to put into like anything you want. Right now, you can purchase the watchtower up front. It's 550 gold. You can upgrade the garden, the lake, the road,
Ooh, I wanna
the walls,
upgrade
the well.
lake so we can bring that.
I
chick
feel
town
like-
over there.
Personally, the road might be the best one to do now because we're going to have people coming in and out of here, and I don't want
that's a good
everyone to constantly be trucking through mud and carts not
Yeah.
being able to go along it.
Did any of those crusty fucks want a job?
Yeah.
Of the people who had previously the like.
Or join the
Yeah.
family.
So.
Crusty Fucks is my grunge band.
Are we done with the downtime?
No, but
One
we're
more
kind of
thing?
getting off track.
A little. So, well, I'll jump into the ledger afterwards. For now, we'll cycle through for the last thing that Vincent wants to do.
Oh, sorry.
So
okay.
my question is, how long does it take to? It's also like wealthy attired inside is a part of like the cost of it going up. How and Lavos will manage it, which is totally fine. How long will it take to get up, and when can he start making passive income on it?
On your building, it is already currently purchased. It takes about 3 days to furnish to your current standards, and based on the just exorbitant sum that you have dropped on it, people are moving aggressively fast. And Lavos, the god carpenter, is on it for you.
Oh,
Yeah, I get him to like to his specifications. Like he wants like a small stage here, and there's a bar there, and then a lounge area, and then in the back there's offices and a small room to like talk with clients and stuff.
It's tool time with Lavos.
Oh, that was terrible. Let me see here. That was bad too. Goodness, I should just
Okay.
stop.
What is this referring to?
Nothing.
you guys
Don't worry about it.
Wow, you
Tim the
don't know
Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
No.
Gosh,
Every
this is
now and then,
before
I'm
her
just,
generation,
I'm
I
so
think.
happy. I'm so happy every time
Gotta
Candace
go
says
look that up now.
So,
My last thing is Vincent would like to visit Carmina and take her for dinner, as she requested, and also maybe follow up on if they're during the 2 months near the end of it, if the magic writing has been completed, and he can fill her in on any information since we're not role playing this, in regards to things that he's caught up with Chrome, or Slater Crom, sorry. Letting him know that he has an inn, and he also has some information one of his familiars is in his possession. So if she's eager to learn anything, he wants to try to impress her.
with that information, Carmina lets you know that if you sacrifice Mo, like basically give Mo to Carmina, she can make you an item that will guarantee that you will make your way into the floor that Slater Crom is on, but you will lose Mo.
I tell her to keep that in her back pocket. I'm gonna see if he can get through with his own ideas.
And spending
So it
time with
makes-
Carmina on your downtime earns you fame in being seen within the Cobbleden district. So go ahead and roll a charisma check.
Can I have Ob during our date? He would have totally.
That's fine, but that wouldn't affect this charisma check.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
This
no
picture-
advantage.
Picture them
15.
cutting off like Mo's foot.
I'll add my +2 free one to it as well.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d4 minus or minimum 2.
3.
3, excellent. You gain 3 fame in the Cobbledon.
Nice.
People kind of see you going around with this famed enchantress, and they're just like, "Who is that couple? So this season!" And are just exploding
Why
with interest.
is all the
NPCs.
why are all the rich people in this world just the worst?
Why did you assume that was a rich person? I said nothing of the sort. I
Because
said
he's
they
in
were
the
members of the Cobbledon. And
Because
Cobbledon
poor
is-
people aren't going to care about Carmina and Vincent.
well, everyone cares about Carmina and Vincent. Don't you understand that by now?
They're the couple of the season.
That shows your own prejudices, Bianca, not mine. As you
So Vincent is totally aware he's probably going to get some jealousy backlash waves from Rosa, so we'll see about that.
and you lose 15 fame in your own home. Now, as you guys complete your downtime, I will now confer upon you the costs of existence.
Over the 2 months, because he did that near the end, how much longer will the item take, does she think?
You actually receive the item alongside a note. It just says, "Thank you for your continued work with the family." And basically, you have to return the other item. As the the amount of time you could have gained the additional item, were you able to deliver within the time frame that your new item got to you. But as though you are doing a good work and they are happy to continue working with you, you must return the previous item to gain your new one.
He's fine with that. It is what it is. These things take time, and it's hard to track someone down in the dungeon. So.
Precisely. So you are given a. Why don't you give me a description of it?
I think when he goes and gets it, and he'll give Carmina back the bow and take this, he'll put them on. They're 2 rings that go onto either one of his fingers. They're called ebony and ivory. And they are essentially a bardic instrument of Vincent's own design. And they summon a kind of golden spectral piano that he can play on. Just as he presses down, you can see a key form, and then as he lifts away, the key disappears.
That's super rad.
Vince is just gonna be standing in the corner of rooms going.
That's if someone's giving a sad monologue, you can be it's the equivalent to the tiniest violin.
The invisiblest piano.
Yeah, he's going to be able to play this a lot because it's just on his command he can bring out piano now.
And then something dramatic happens, you're like, ba 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 ba.
And then, so he, along with the dinner date, he also gives her a private performance to test and he says he'll test it out, but hopefully she'll enjoy it. So I don't know if you want me to roll for that as well.
What kind of private performance?
Roll performance.
That's what I was thinking.
One of the
see if it
rings
leaves-
goes on the end of his tail.
Ah,
The
it's not
other,
The other goes in the
Oh.
front.
Oh.
18.
The other tail.
So average for Vincent.
An 18 performance is wonderful for most, and average for Vincent. As you play out, you take note that I would say that I'm just going to take narrative control over this. This performance happened at the Valentine estate. And as you are sitting within the kind of lowered living room area of the just finery that well exceeds your guys' current means of the Valentine's estate, and look up at all that which will eventually belong to Vincent. No, I'm just kidding. You see an individual stride down the stairs, a man of immense stature, broad shoulders, and a fine suit, staring down towards you with this just fiery red-black hair pulled back into a tight bun at the back of his head, who just kind of strides down with his arms at the back, staring down at you with those same pink eyes that Carmina has. And he just kind of listens into the performance, turns the corner, and walks away. And as you, for the first time, see Victor Valentine, the leader of the family house of the Valentine Enchanters, you leave this area with an understanding of the weight of that individual's presence. And you were not immediately kicked out of the home, which is also good. As you guys finish your downtime, I will now...
A quick thing.
Thank you.
It wouldn't have been... I wouldn't have waited like 2 months of downtime to do this. Pretty much the night that Killian gets back, and like we essentially like finish like fighting the cult and everything, she wants to find Pod. If he's around, great. If not, then like she'll kind of wait around for him or like look for him over like a course of like a couple days or like each day check in to see where he is. But she essentially wants to tell him in no uncertain terms, like she doesn't care. Like if Killig and he are doing something and they're a part of whatever was happening, he doesn't have to tell her. She's not going to invest any more time in finding someone who doesn't want to be found, even if he might be in danger. But she tells them she tells him in no uncertain terms that if they keep doing what they're doing, she will eventually stop them.
As you hold on to this, you approach, probably fuming, up to your home. And as you open the door, you immediately bump into Patience. Patience hands you a note that states that both Pod, Killig, and Yaga have not shown up for any work-related anything. Now, Pod has constant work. Killig did not, and Yaga had constant work. Yaga recently has not been seen. Pod has not been showing up for work for a long time. And you, as a Dungeonborn, you know that to not do these things, because you have to register, there's various different systems that you need to go through in order to gain gainful employment as someone who's come from the dungeon in the city. You need to check in with Patience, who basically acts as like a liaison for you. They've not been doing any of it. And as she gives you this note, she says, Pod and Killig are missing. And for the last few days I haven't seen Yaga either.
This is like is this a couple days after the encounter, or is this like the same night?
Whenever you may have went, the last time that you managed to see Pod was the last time you saw him. As he was basically loading you up into the back of that carriage and the doors closed, you've not seen him since.
Right. Well, that anger has to go somewhere. So Killian just kind of like takes the note and like crumples it and like tries to put it in her pocket, but probably like misses and like just throws like a penultimate like tantrum, the likes that Patience has like never seen Killian perform. Like takes like the paper and like goes to kick it and then like probably like hits something else and then like throws that thing to the floor and like just makes a huge mess of whatever room she's in, until she essentially is like fully spent. She's probably like broken a bunch of like people's things in the process, and she's just gonna like sob in the corner. Presumably at some point Patience might comfort her, but she also might just give her some space.
I think this is probably what she sits back and like just watches the destruction, and with a mad look of surprise, but like this understanding as you sit down and you're just exhausted from this. She sits next to you and wordlessly just places a hand on your shoulder and kind of just leans over, placing her weight on you. And it's strange. She feels light. Like you would have expected this fully grown woman placing her weight down upon you to be like bearing down on you. But like you bear the weight of Patience with ease. And as she attempts to calm you wordlessly in her own way, eventually she kind of like gets up and does give you that space. And in time you begin to return to the family home. As you all come back together,
before
Jojo.
she leaves, sorry, just real quick, she's gonna mend anything she broke.
Oh.
She's gonna take like an extra 40 minutes and just like
Hi.
slowly and sheepishly like mend. Like there's probably like a goblin or a kobold just like staring out the room, being like looking at their chest of drawers that was like thrown across the room. Just like
I
Sorry.
love Killian.
yeah, but she will mend everything and then head back. But she makes sure she keeps the note despite having kicked it and crumpled it.
It's so hard to be like, not to dissuade anything from that amazing roleplay, but all of you gain a point of inspiration. Killian, yours is pointedly amazing towards that roleplay that you just fulfilled. I picture that scene so vividly in my head. It's amazing.
Also, he allows Mo to basically, if he wishes to, reside with Lavos at the Heart's Desires, because he said he was a fan of jazz. So,
Yeah, he does love some smooth jazz.
how much was the cost for Lavos? Because that is a upfront cost, and how much is it for a jazz band? Like Vincent would have scouted them, asking for you for help, because you said that was a one-time purchase cost, right?
Okay, so you want a full jazz band of 4 people?
Yes, like a pianist, a singer, maybe a person who plays like sax or drums, and or sax or
No, Sham.
trumpet, and a drum person,
You'll get that one guy.
and a bass.
It's just some sick jazz,
for 5
Sean.
people.
Yeah, that one dude in Masks District is just like, did you hear about the Sham Lounge? But no, that'll be 320 gold for the purchase of them, basically. And they will play within the Heart's Desires pretty regularly. You have purchased yourself a jazz band. And you wanted... Lavos is not going to charge anything.
Sweet.
Lavos is temporary, though. Basically, to the end of this mission, he is going to work to attempt to maintain this. He's also collecting the money from the smithy, Killian, of which you gained 1 gold and 3 silver. Times.
Big investment. That
Gains-
really feels really realistic. It's like real life, like interest rates of like $1 and something.
Times, that would be 8 weeks. 10 gold.
At one point, we had gotten off track and then went back on track. But then the part that we went off track, did we ever get back to that?
Nope.
Okay.
Ledger? Oh.
The crusty fucks.
The crusty fucks. So I need everyone to roll a group charisma check with advantage. As these people are being taken care of by Lavos in the early stages, it takes about 3 weeks, and it is a fucking rough situation. At some point, they actually needed to be placed within the boiler room, which is just reconstituted into a makeshift prison. And as they're placed within there, they almost seem to be a danger to themselves and others for
I'm
a
taking
solid few
this.
days.
As Vincent having the least amount of charisma in this situation, as he wasn't there.
Yeah. He was like, no.
Not
Sorry,
a-
guys, I just opened a business. Sorry.
Matilda was fine helping the weird people because of who she's lived with, and she's used to dead bodies. So like the fact that they're being fuckheads while she's trying to administer like healing to them, she's just like, whatever. It's just a regular Saturday.
Yeah, this is just JoJo having terrible bedside manner.
So you guys gain 3 family members from this.
Oh.
3 people who are taken into the care of Lavos and like cared for and see the struggle that everybody goes through. See the home that you got, your guys' family home, and hear about the stories that are coming through. Are willing to take bonds and join with the family. These 3 people are actually, if somebody wants to roll a D8, then I can take from that.
Can I do it?
Absolutely.
I was gonna ask, is one of them the one that I took the crystal from, like his eye?
Yes.
Oh,
So let me
because they
check that
remembered
D8.
you? Because they're like, you'll be okay. Oh, that's
Mhm.
cute. I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1? Okay, that doesn't, like, low or high does not matter in this.
Okay,
You
cool.
are determining their
Their
You're
bond.
determining their bond. I want 2 more D8s, actually, if anybody else wants to roll this.
Yeah, someone else roll.
Do it.
Okay, roll.
4. Okay, a 1, a 4. One last D8, anybody?
Nice.
And a 2.
Ooh,
Ooh,
okay.
nice. 3 different things. Sweet. So, a 4. You guys gain a butler.
Yeah.
One of these people joins you guys
Butler
as
Vaughn.
a butler. They had worked at not exactly prestigious family homes previously, but with a butler, that actually opens up quite a few things you guys can buy. You also got a 1. Ooh, that's pretty good. An arcanist.
Ooh.
What
You
is
guys join-
that?
An arcanist is a person who can, basically by having these people in your family, you are capable of identifying rods and staves. The arcanist can also earn you guys an income of 10 gold a day. The butler costs you 2 gold a day. And what was the last one?
I still don't understand what an arcanist is.
It's like
They're
an
basically-
Arcana specialist.
It's a magic nerd.
Precisely. You also gain a 1% discount on your gear upkeep.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Even better,
Okay.
you gain a 3% discount on uncommon magic items,
Woo.
which automatically populates across all the sheets. The butler gets you a renown increase, so you gain some fame, and you get 1% cheaper gear upkeep. And your last one is a cook.
Yay.
You guys gain a cook at the main manor. Food and water cost in the city is reduced by 5%. Various different kind of things as the family joins in with these new people. They set in, and you have new family members. Go ahead, Killian.
Are we able to? I assume we have to pay the cook.
But you guys are making a net income of 6 gold a day. So the cook
Right.
is being paid based off of that.
Are we able to pay the cook a little bit extra, to while he's doing his cookly duties, also teaching a young boy whose dreams of feeding others?
So,
Did beans ever come back over the 2 months and give
Yeah,
Vincent
beans.
an info back?
Is it just one bean? It's singular bean, right?
it's singular bean, yeah.
I
Although
just call him
beans, yeah, beans does not hurt either. That's like his nickname. He's like, I'm not very clever, so my nickname is just my name, but a little bit more of it.
The multiple.
So you guys gained a cook, a butler, a servant, and an arcanist. Butler servant has a little slash in between it. So
I love beans.
Bean does return to you. Previously, you had requested that he do. Let me go ahead and bring up my ongoing quest list.
I'm pretty sure Vincent sent him out to essentially speak among the other kids within the districts and
Yes.
see if he could learn any information. I can't remember specifically what I sent him for, but I know it was to gain information. He probably wrote it down.
Bean, 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 bean.
For every session where we almost TPK, we have another session that's just purely
Yeah.
inventory management.
Oh,
and
there
spending
needs-
and gaining money.
There's a lot of stuff you need to do.
Sorry,
between-
guys. It's a hit and
Law of
miss.
equivalent exchange. It'll all be hype.
bean, the
We
magical
have to have
phone.
shopping episodes. That happens.
Yeah.
Do we get names of these people, or you have not thought of those yet, huh?
People are individuals that each have wonderful names.
Yeah, their names are
Um,
Cook, Arcanist, and Butler.
I'm serving.
I don't understand even why they thought they were going to be anything else. Arcanist is like, I'm a barbarian. No, you have Jeremus, you have Zosia, and you have Madashinia.
Which one is which?
Don't worry about it.
Take a guess. Feel like Madashini is probably the Arcanist.
That was wrong. Zosia is the Arcanist.
Well, I'm narrowing it down
Let
already.
me write these down because I
I am.
don't know
I'm
how to
putting them
spell
in
these
now.
whatsoever. These are some unique names for a unique family.
Humans are unique, yo. You have Madasinia, the cook. You have Zosia, the Arcanist, and you have Jeremus, the butler. Which is the easiest one to say, so that's the one where everyone's like, Jeremus, my drink, please. But these people join your family and join hands within the Lavos family.
Do the
as-
other crusty fucks help us build the road?
No.
They
They
leave.
they basically just thank you upon the aid, and some of them just kind of absentmindedly leave.
Oh.
As you guys look onwards towards your new day, there is, as Bean returns to you, family info, rumors, Goldwater, grandfather, missing people, today onwards. Where do you report missing people? He said the guilds or the Order of 10. Anything about the cults? He has heard that basically, Bean begins to return to you some information of the stuff that you guys had been doing. He's like, there's rumors of a cult that was just shut down to the north of Amaranth, but I don't know who was doing that. So I'm looking into that now.
Bud. Great job.
There's rumors of, recently this has been happening. One thing that I thought you might be interested in is that Talarian Fisher is taking up a forum discussion about storytelling in the Reverie. He's kind of a famous playwright. I thought you might be interested in that. There are rumors of the Dianthian nobility joining hands with Lathander, and that's scary for every other family in existence. And there's a technology convention that was scheduled for just about next week, but it's been postponed for upwards of a half a year. And a lot of people are talking about Mystra and Gond, and they think that maybe they've begun to fight or something. There's rumors of a social war of sorts within the districts against Gond and Mystra, but that's been lots of rumors going around about that.
With the Talarian Fisher, what was he saying? He's just hosting like
a storytelling
story.
TED
like,
Talk.
is it like kids go there and listen to story time?
No,
Like, what
it's
is
a
No.
storytelling TED Talk? Pretty much.
Yeah, basically. Like there are forums within the city that are called the open forums, and basically they are areas in which people can show up and give talks or speak to share information. The majority of them are within Ogma's district, in that the sharing of free knowledge is like practically his portfolio.
Okay.
It is
But
within his portfolio.
this conference for technology is happening soon.
It got
No,
postponed.
It was
for like
supposed
half
to
a year.
happen.
A year.
Precisely. And you guys actually ascertained that likely has something to do with what you guys are going to do right now.
So when it comes to all the stuff about cults, was there any mention of like another cult? Because Matilda threw in some like bullshit the last time we did like a
Oh.
There was
dinner
not.
mission. Damn
There
it.
was not. But I mean, you threw in that thing, and then you put that on the wall, and that was awesome. There's also the matter of the Goliath. Here's one thing.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
not. The Goliath has not come to make contact with you. The Goliath has
Oh.
not begun to approach you.
I was wondering about it during the 2 months someone came to the house.
They did.
Would have had a talk.
It's good to get this all out of the way so that we can actually just be like, anyway, here's the 30 things that were ongoing, and they're done. So, surprise, surprise. The people who returned to you, you have Danos leading the back flank as Dallas and Lana reappear to speak to you once more. Now,
The house?
Vincent would probably he requested you guys that he speak with them alone because he's still a little worried about all the he knows like JoJo can't lie very well and like things like that. Not that we're kind of bending the truth as it is. So
you are not allowed to be separated. As they bring you guys into the center of the home, they have
I don't think so they just barge into our family home and demand this.
they move into your family home astride a official symbol signed by the Order of 10, dictating that, first off, there are some very veiled threats on the fact that you guys are living here. Very veiled indeed, in the fact that you do not own this property, but that doesn't need to be a problem. And they kind of using this leverage attempt to threaten their way in to begin to talk to you about a few matters of importance.
Great.
I want to see if I know who Dallas is. I'm proficient in history. I just want to see if it's funny if I don't.
Would Vincent have heard them kind of barge into
I
the
don't know
house?
who she is.
Okay, let's all take a second and let's ask one question at a time. So, Matilda, an 8 is enough to know who Dallas is.
Aw, damn it. I
This is
really
basically,
didn't
you're
wanna know
looking
who
at
she
like a 5. I think you really wanted to not know so that she would feel insulted, but you're just like,
Yeah.
God damn it, I do know you, you're super famous.
Yeah.
However, they move in and placed within a zone of truth. They begin to ascertain some questions.
Yeah, I have some precautions that Vincent, because he kind of, knew this was coming. If he heard people barging into the house and stuff, and kind of what they were demanding, when he went to go downstairs, he wanted to cast awe on himself. So,
Okay. That's totally fine. I need each and every one of you to roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
For the Zone of Truth?
My
You're just gonna fail it.
specialty.
yeah, Vincent's gonna willingly fail it and then use his ribbon to say that. Oh no, you can't do that. It's the
The
opposite.
other way
It's the
around.
opposite, yeah.
And he's not gonna willingly fail it.
Joda's gonna fail because she can't lie anyway. So
Did they tell us what the zone of
This
truth is?
Did they give us our rights?
Like, yeah, do we know, like...
Lana would have
We're
explained
gonna
that
cast
to you.
this thing, you should fail it if you don't want to be, like, lying to us or whatever. Like,
100%. As they entered in, they basically outlined everything that had happened. Dallas sits down, and I'm sorry, Jaeger also is in tow, standing next to Danos.
does he look like a kid that's been dragged along?
A little bit.
Oh, no.
He looks a little bit frustrated. But as he looks actually quite frustrated. But as Dallas sits down before you, she says, "You're gonna want to be honest here. This doesn't have to be a problem. But we've received quite a lot of information about some recent happenings within the Whitewater Key. I asked you not to make waves, but it seems like I was a little too fucking late for that one."
Well, you said it afterwards.
I did, yeah. That's what I just said. Thank you. And then she sits back, about to cast a spell. You're going to want to just fail this, so that we can get this over with as fast as possible.
Well, we knew something like this would happen, so let's get on with it, dear. Also, it's good to meet you in person, Dallas. I've heard much about you.
It's nice to see someone with a little bit of class. She reaches a hand out.
They'll, is it like a Soleil kind of thing?
No, just like a hello.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is about that then. Can I go grab some documents first?
She just kind of gestures, and Danos stands up and is like, "Great, I'll be with you."
Yeah.
begins to move
Okay,
alongside
Dennis.
you.
You seem to be with me a lot, don't you?
This is the
Even
second
when
time.
I don't think so. Sure, it has.
It's the second time.
She goes
And
and grabs the ledger that she's decrypted.
Alrighty.
The fact that you
Vincent will give her a handshake as well, if that's what she was insinuating.
Indeed. And Matilda, go.
The fact that you came in on the pretenses that we don't own this property, I'm pretty sure a lot of the gods don't own the property that their homes are on. They probably just showed up and the people kind of had to move out. So
We built this city from the ground up.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to. She leans back and says, "But I do need to believe you." Claps her hands together and places the sigil down that begins to glow around the outer area. Do you guys choose to fight this wisdom saving throw?
Vincent's natural demeanor makes it so that he does, but he still fails because he rolled a fuck.
I
Killian-
gotta.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
You go.
Okay, well, I got an 18 because I still had my bless on. So I minus the 3 I got from the.
Okay. 18, 15 fails. And Killian, do you
Killian
you
Didn't
fail.
roll. She's just, yeah.
You willingly fell. Okay. As the zone of truth encircles around you, Dallas looks towards you, and Lana, kind of sitting in the back, is just like, "You're doing a great job, everyone. Don't worry."
Thank you,
And
dear.
as,
Not bad cop.
you're most welcome. And as they both sit back, and Jaeger's just like sitting there looking towards you guys and just apprehensive about what's going to happen, Dallas looks towards you and says, "What involvement did you have with Shiana Stormdaughter?"
Does-
And she looks towards each and every one of you, awaiting just a open conversation.
Okay, so like she wants a reply from everyone for each question.
She's just, now it's just a conversation, and she's aware that you guys are going to be telling the truth.
We entered the home. We were let in by one of the.
These are very
Guard?
careful answers.
Yeah.
You want to talk a bit more openly? You're
Shiana
very suspicious.
Stormdaughter- Vincent will put his hand up. Shiana Stormdaughter is a assistant to my grandfather's, like, out of character. Is it his company, I guess? Is
Yeah, the
how-
Goldwater training. Well, it is. She is his personal assistant, but she's employed
Yeah.
by the GTC.
Yeah. His assistant as well as employed by the Goldwater Trading Company. That's about as much as I know about her per se.
Oh, I've got a ledger here. Gianna's ledger. I've decrypted it. And it's a lot of illegal shit. So here's a copy. And she hands it over.
She takes it and begins to look it over, and she's like, "Did you, at any point, attack Shiana Stormdaughter?"
We did not attack first.
Yes, in self-defense.
It's back and forth. Did you at any point? She actually pauses and opens the ledger and begins to look through it.
We should have started with the fact she sent an assassin after you, right?
I'm under the assumption that they've filled in the details, but if we have to start,
I don't
from
think
the
we should
beginning-
assume that.
Yes, Shiana Stormdaughter hired an assassin to come after me, under
Went
the
into the
guise that
dungeon
she'd do
with
it
us.
for my grandfather.
Do you know that
Sure.
your grandfather was involved in this?
I didn't.
Looks back at the ledger and continues to kind of like siphon through, and she's like, this is pretty thorough. Looks back towards you all.
So, if I'm being honest here, my grandfather would very much indeed like to get rid of me. However, sorry, I'm having a moment here. The fact that Shiana did this, and she specifically hired an assassin to come after me, and in return my family, it doesn't bode well for her. This was personal, and she put us all at risk.
She has contacts with Loveless and tried to get them to attack us. We were able to get away before anything poorly happened.
Also, we didn't kill anyone there.
If anything, my two friends here helped to aid any of the people that refused to back down after they subdued them.
Administered healing to the Goliath.
What Goliath?
Gillian looks to Matilda to remember his name.
Matilda just smiles and raises an eyebrow. She knows.
I'm assuming that they're keeping some things under wraps, even
Yeah.
to you.
Uncle Lawyer in her head is like, when you're under the spell, you do not have to speak.
She looks back.
Shiana's bodyguard. I can't remember his name.
She nods and continues looking through the ledger and kind of begins to put two and two together on just the trafficking of people from various different areas. Begins to look back and forth towards you all. This is some pretty deep shit that's going down. Is anybody else involved with you during this? Were you people the only ones that went on this mission? Okay, so that's a no. Who else was involved?
Well, of course, Lavos and other people knew about what was going on.
Yes. Were they with you? We have reports of only 2 people entering into the premises, but it seems like you were all there. So, seems like there was a few more other than just this group that entered into the home. Who else was there?
A familiar.
Roll deception. Actually,
Why is that deception?
it's actually you can't deceive. You're being evasive, so that's true. It's interesting in the concept of a deception check for here, but that's fine. She says that. Let me roll insight.
Yes, we had aid from other magical sources as well.
Such as?
Like my companion said over here, familiars, we had summons, things like that.
I don't know why the particulars are so important to you when it looks like the stuff that's actually happening is much more important than any other little extra involvement we might have had.
She's looking down at the ledger and looking back towards you all, and she closes the book. She leans in and she says, I agree.
Also, Dallas, even after everything you've seen, it'd be odd if you lean on us too hard. We're the victims in this. Simply wish to help out and deal with it, but obviously that didn't go quite as planned. Shiana's not an easy person to deal with.
Roll a persuasion check. With your passive insight, you take note that she seems to have immediately had some kind of an effect as soon as you say we're the victims in this. There seems to be a shift in her demeanor.
17.
17. She sits back and she looks over towards Matilda and Jojo, looks down at the book, and she says, "This is all incredibly valuable information. And I'm glad that you've all been forthright."
Well, if we're being honest, honey, you didn't give us much of a choice.
No.
Looking over at Jaeger, does he seem to think that this is going good?
Jaeger's sitting there just being like,
Yeah. Usually I'm the one that lacks the etiquette in a space, so it's refreshing to meet someone that lacks it even more than I do.
Well, don't put her down. She's interesting, but I like it.
You see that she just basically like takes that in stride. It's going to take a lot more to get under her skin.
I know.
As she's sitting there and just thinking back, she says,
Hey, Jeremus, could we get maybe like the muffins?
it just enters into the room. Of course.
Mad
Oh
Maria.
yes,
Later,
would you guys
thank
also
you.
like some drinks? We have smoothies. We have got coffee and tea, of course.
Rose,
let's-
could you pass me that? Thank you. The little shrub hand me.
Just lifts up with these
Thank
little
you.
vines. You see that Rose is currently just dressed in a tiny little suit jacket, and Jeremus is just sitting there
Thank
like,
you.
yes. But as the other two leave the room, and Dallas takes a muffin, places it in front of her, she sits back and says, "I'm going to be honest with you. There's been a lot of talk passing through about this family recently. Not all. You've been at the center of a lot of things that have been happening within the last few months. It seems like there's just an awful lot of early dungeon jitters. Adventures get a little bit wild when they just begin to kind of move into this, but I can see already that you've all grown pretty substantially from where it begins.
You
No.
have to take into account that this, and he'll gesture towards the bond on his hand, or the tattoo, sorry, brings about its own misfortunes, whether we want it or not.
Also, growth or not, there's still plenty of jitters.
Brings along its share of blessings too. And I'm sure some of them will come your way. But listen, Umberlee's in some deep shit for this. And it's kind of up to me whether or not I want to share this with you guys, but you seemed alright. There's probably going to be some kind of an inquisition into the family, because this is basically directly under her purview. She's responsible for the actions of her family members. So as this all continues to go, there's likely going to be a court date. Some shit's going to be handled, but it's very hush-hush. Dealings with gods end up being dealt with by gods, if that makes sense. So, if I could ask, and you don't need to agree to this, it does not need to be, this is just me trying to tell you it's probably easier to do this way. This is just lay low. Try not to mention anything about this. And try and let this take its course. Meddling in the affairs of the gods can be dangerous. Especially when you're dealing with some evil deities.
Honey, I don't think this will be an issue. Shiana's not someone who I like to think about all the time. Neither is my grandfather. Until, I'm assuming his mom's like sitting outside. They would have saw her when they came in, and he'll like look in that direction and then look back towards Dallas.
We're gonna be out of town for a bit. So,
Where are you going?
Brain break stuff.
She just
Personal things within the family.
just goes.
You're hard to hate. All of you. Stands up. It's been a very fun, very official visit. But I'm going to officially leave now.
Can we leave this? Can you drop the concentration on it?
No. Then she begins to
Vincent
walk
just
away.
steps out of the circle there.
Yeah, you do. Nothing's keeping you there. And she begins to leave. As she reaches the front door, she stops and she turns around. She says, "Officially, it was very nice to meet you all. Unofficially,
Vincent will go
Try and-
over and like give his girlfriend basically like a handshake as well and see them all.
what are you doing?"
What was the unofficial part?
Unofficially, don't fucking have me come back. You just like approach, ignoring Dallas, cutting her off, and then reaching for Lana's hand, who takes it and shakes it. And it's just like, she's sitting there just shaking her head as Lana just like begins to smile and giggle at that. And it's like, this is all new to me, so this was fun. Thank you. And she's like, just don't say it's fun. This is work. She's like, right, yes, officially. This was fun.
Vincent immediately caught on to what's happening with Lana, and he'll just give her a wink and be like, you keep it in mind. She's good.
She just like bubbly begins to walk off, just sitting there just being like, oh, all of this official stuff is so interesting. Dallas begins to make her way, and Dennis looks towards you all and is just like,
See you around, Danos.
aye, I live right outside, so see you soon.
Yeah.
He turns, suspiciously looking towards all of you, feeling like there's a lot more going on beneath the surface.
Hey,
Begins
yeah,
to make
good
his way
deal.
out.
Do you want some coffee? Are you gonna stay?
Yeah, if it's cool with you guys. And they're just like, fuck off, Jaeger. Like, can do. Lana's like, don't be mean to Jaeger. I love him. He's like, yeah, well, bye. Closes the door. Turns around and just like,
Your family members don't treat you very well, considering. Though I know your like relationship with your father is kind of complicated. So,
Dallas isn't part of my family, but Dallas is.
well, she's part of your other family's family.
You guys dealt with her well. She tries to be intimidating, but she's totally just like, she's a kitten, but she can be scary. Just in general, just being around her, she has this air about her. Like,
I felt that.
Her presence was quite common towards me. Interesting.
Okay. Know that if you ever want to get to her, you don't go for her, you go for her partner. So if we ever wanted to really hurt her, we would just have to kidnap Lana and do some really mean shit.
Hey,
to her, and then I would work.
hey, yo, don't. I understand the nature of the jokes, but like,
It's
unnecessary.
Not a joke.
That was totally a joke.
No, because I'm still in the circle of truth.
You like point down towards it. It dispels as
it's okay,
as Dallas
yeah,
gets far enough away.
Sometimes she has a hard time with social things as well.
I understand you're talking about the logic of like what you would do, Matilda, but let's maybe not say that about one of the highest ranking people in the city.
Well, Vincent will go look out the window a little bit, making sure that Dallas didn't hear any of that.
Dallas is standing outside.
Does it seem like she heard any of that?
She just looks at you as you look out the window. She turns around. You may go ahead and roll insight.
Also, she's really cool.
Ooh, 29. Not 20.
As she looks at you, she did not seem to be paying attention. She was currently talking with Lana outside. But
in the back of everyone's head, you'll just hear, "Don't worry, she didn't hear you."
Jaeger says, Lana's a lot like you guys, actually. She grew really, really fast. When she entered into the Lathander family, I think she like jumped into second rank pretty quickly. There's not much known about her. She's actually pretty new, but her and Dallas seem to go back a ways. Yeah. You handled that pretty well. Careful. But like, you should let me know what it was that they were here for more. Some of the stuff that they said was like, you guys are in on some pretty deep stuff.
It's fine. I simply just had an assassin after my head, and we dealt with it.
Jeez.
Also, speaking of assassins and people getting killed, have you looked into the mining town yet?
No, I did not get leave to actually manage to go, but I have started the processes. As soon as I get any time, I'll be heading down there myself.
Well,
here, let's eat scones. Or what are these, muffins? And he reaches down and grabs one.
and I apologize if you guys had to go through that as well. It's not always fun to be housed or simply existing.
Bean
But I
is just like,
appreciate you guys being there for me when I needed it. Talking to the group, not to Jaeger.
yeah, Jaeger was about to put his arm around and he's like, oh, I get it, halfway through. Just reaches his hand back. Bean's
You
like
want to
sitting
my-
in the back, and he's just like, "Can I be part of the family?"
You can be, as long as you don't share any of this information. Beans, were you eavesdropping again?
I was just, yeah.
Well, I guess it's good practice.
Jaeger's like, yeah, you guys are being bad influences on the little lad.
He loves it. It's fine. He wishes to be a cook. So he's a very, very related skills. Trust me.
As time continues to pass, you guys round up towards likely the day before the ultimate journey from the basement of Cisco's pawn shop. But as you find your way through
God, I love that.
through your 2 months of preparation, you find yourselves outside of Cisco's. And from here, we will take a break. Let's come back in 15, and we will see y'all shortly. So, we circle around. You all find yourselves outside of Cisco's pawn shop in the Dennery's main districts. As you stride forward with the preparation that you had previously completed, you guys have disguises that match those that you found within the Mystra family. Mystra family's kind of caches that were being prepared for their own family. You are currently the day before the meeting was to take place. And as you guys look onwards towards this location, kind of just scouting it out or joining in itself, I will leave you guys to whatever it is that you want to do here.
Sorry, I'll let you continue.
Up to you what time it is, where you are, how you are. But basically, tonight, past midnight is when Mistress family is supposed to show up here and do whatever it is they're going to do. I don't know whether you guys want to confront them, do something without them, do something in spite of them, take their stuff, leave their stuff, talk with them. I have no idea what you guys are going to do, but I'm just placing you outside of Cisco's right now.
I wanted us to get there early so that they couldn't leave without us, and then we would just be waiting in the room for when they arrive. That was my goal.
Y'all walk in. What's up?
Yeah. Hey.
Do we,
sup,
sneak
nerds?
in on their teleportation? We're just like, hey.
I don't. You
That's
can't. I don't think we
basically-
can do that.
we're not-
No one-
Yeah, we're not sneaking, but we are just jumping on, being like, "Oh, we're also going."
One thing in preparation for this, Vincent is going to get Mo. Like, Mo vanished at the farm. Is he back at the manor when we get there?
Yes.
Before the downtime? Okay. He's going to tell him that this is a mission that he wants him to come on. His ability to scout, steal, and be invisible is going to be useful here.
Is Packer
That's fine.
coming with us?
I don't think it would be wise. There's no way to hide a Lizelle.
That would be... Yeah, you just have a little
Goblin is
lizard man
stretching
walking
things
around.
as it is, so...
Okay, well then here's the thing. Should we take all of our stuff out of Paca so we have our shit with us? Like,
As much as you can hold, like, you still have your carry capacity and what you can actually bring on you.
I meant more like our bedroll and stuff.
I'm sure they have dwellings for us there.
Might want to bring your bread roll.
You can bring that if you want.
I tell the shrubbies to listen to Jeremus while we're gone.
Jeremus gives a wink and a nod and a viable salute as he ushers you all off at the door.
What if he makes them into a salad?
Jeremus wouldn't do that.
You don't know Jeremus very well.
I know Jeremus. We've known him for 3 months. Or 2 months.
Vincent is going to bring combined with asking Mo to come along, he's going to give him his ringlets of the pale, and he's going to ask him to attune to them.
Mo as a creature cannot attune to magic items.
Oh, he just can't do that? Because usually it's like your hand, if creatures
I'm
don't
not
have
a-
hands like that.
No, I don't want to. They can activate a magic item that requires an activation, such as like if there's a wand that doesn't require attunement, and you can just blast something from it, or if you can press a button on a immovable rod, for example. But they cannot attune to magic items because they do not have attunement slots. This imp cannot accomplish that feat.
Okay.
It's like an Ashbond feature, essentially.
Yeah, so that's like homebrew. Okay.
Well, no, it can, like, normal people can attune to magic items. This imp creature cannot do so.
Gotcha.
Because they're kind of like a companion. It's like I don't think.
Yeah, in normal D&D they can, so that's why I'm just confirming.
Oh, okay.
But
But
this
yeah.
is a custom thing.
I had imagined that Cisco, like Jojo had asked Cisco to let us in, like after hours or like sometime before these Mystra people would have showed up, so we'd already be down there.
DM, may I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah, it turns you are actually correct. Sorry, I thought I had the mechanics. But basically, the concept of familiars and attuning to magic items. Same as any other creature 3. There's no arbitrary handicap creature. It has attunement slots.
Yeah,
So
because
there.
we've had imps. A lot of warlock, like Pact of the Chain people, like to have their imps use their extra magic items. So
Yes, no, so they totally can. That was just my misunderstanding.
okay, so this isn't homebrew. You just okay, cool.
What's your question, Tamara?
Well, I haven't asked it yet. I wanted to know, we went and we snooped and we saw all the stuff that they were getting to go on this mission, right? Was there anything in particular other than the clothing that we knew that we probably should bring along?
Well, we forged the symbols.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's what I mean.
There's like
Anything else
minor tools,
on top of that?
right?
I posted
Yeah.
what you guys had seen previously in the chat. Let me scroll up a little bit.
I forgot, sorry.
That's okay. I don't think I even mentioned it.
Miner's pack, backpack, spyglass, copper sigil, which is the ones we made. A metal. Although there was metals of meat pie, metal of mustard, and metal of wit, which are magic items. So I don't think those are required. It's just like
No.
what they're giving them as aid. So yeah, it's just a backpack, the sigil, the outfit, and a miner's pick. That's it.
Okay, does each person have a miner's pick? Like in each...
There was 4 in the packs, yeah.
So
There's
then we
also
probably should all-
there was a few smaller items as well. There was a cart, like a handheld cart that was in
Mhm.
one of the boxes, but not the rest.
Does like Cisco have mining picks?
Was that part of the disguise that
I think so. Yeah.
Alien and
No,
Princess
clothing
Fortune?
and the sigils would have been like take up the majority of the time to create that.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I meant as in like it was probably part of the whole entire disguise was the mining pick as well.
No, that was for clothing and sigils.
So we don't have a minor kit.
No, but what I'm saying is like the whole entire ensemble for them to be like, we're going to la la la. We have our
No,
mining.
what he's
picks."
saying is we haven't gotten it.
You don't
Yeah.
have
No.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no.
they were there in the boxes. You guys don't have the picks.
Oh, are you just saying what their cover story is?
Yeah, like I'm not talking about what we have. I'm talking about their ensemble. Their costume that they're wearing comes with a mining pick that they that
Mhm.
like. So
Let's say
ours
this,
should
if you
probably
were-
have one, too.
If you were gonna go to the like the Halloween costume store and purchase it, mining pick separate. But they had there were picks there because as far as the story was, they were basically like, you're going to Ironhall to find work. So it wouldn't make sense that you wouldn't have the tools of the trade that you would have to attempt to
Yeah.
find work.
Okay, so then we should probably get them too.
Does
Right?
Vincent
We
feel
should-
like
we
if
should
the
buy
point is
some
just to
before we
find
head to Cisco's?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we should probably pick some up before we
Yeah.
go today.
that's cool. I just want to know, would Vincent feel like, because athletically, I don't know, he doesn't look like a miner. Would
Foreman.
it be too? Yeah, he's there for entertainment purposes to make sure people, don't go crazy while mining. Is
Well,
that too
also-
far fetched, or like how to? Is the only thing they work there is miners, and everyone else there's no other jobs?
Your cover
If
story
anyone
is that you're a
presses
bard.
If anyone presses us, we're just like,
He's a traveling
he's
minstrel.
he's our canary in the coal mine. When
Well,
he stops singing, we need to get out of there.
Here's the thing about
Well-
desperation and about work. They don't really give a shit whether or not you are fit enough to do it. They just really care if they can send you down there. and
No,
get-
I understand. What I'm asking is
Yeah.
if there is any other jobs aside from miner, because Vincent's not going to be the best at it, so he'd prefer
Well, from
to
what
do
Jojo
something.
knows is only dwarves can actually work the mines, right?
What you know about Ironhall and what is currently happening is that, like, in essence, yes, the forges can only be run by dwarves to actually manage to, like, work it. They're just far too intricate for most of the human workers who are there. That doesn't mean it's outside of the realm of reasonable for, like, a human to be able to do it. It's just that from what they had, it was like, great, we have this mountain. full of shit, and we don't have anyone skilled enough to use it. So they were like, okay, we'll bring the dwarves back.
So
But
like
it's
they
not
just
like-
need them to forge them, but you still get humans to like get the ores out. You
Yeah.
can still do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Humans are still there to work as miners. Also, miners pick is 2 gold pieces a pop if you guys wanted to buy some.
Okay, yes, I would love that.
Yeah, I'm just curious, looking into like all the research and discussing with the group.
And to answer your question, Vincent, previously, yes, you absolutely can. I like the fact that you're just like, my cover story is that I'm a bard.
No, I'm a
But,
traveling minstrel.
Very different. And it is actually very, very different. But it's not out of the realm of reasonable to look at a mine and just be like, have you ever been down there? You need instruments. You need some fun.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
I do not. Yeah, totally.
Could I
I'll
We'll
pretend
bring
I
his
hate
weird loot up front. Because I'm sure him whipping out some crazy ass magic item piano thing is going to be noticeable.
I think actually, if you say that you're entertainment, I say that I'm a healer, and you say, Killian, that you're a mechanic or like a repair person, and JoJo's the miner, we might actually have more chance getting hired.
True.
You're also not a healer. So
I know,
if you were hired, it would be difficult to keep up that one. But you're also not a miner, so here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You guys are
Also,
outside
one
Cisco's.
thing to note, they think we're unbounded, so we got to hide our tattoos and we can't use any
Mhm.
magic unless you can. So, for instance, if Vincent lets off a cantrip, he could be like, I'm a tiefling, like, leave me alone. It's normal for us to have magic. But if a human like Matilda lets off a spell, it's going to blow our cover. So
Yeah.
just be careful.
I'll just bring my alchemical supplies. I'll be like, I can make chemistry.
Need
a lot
you
easier.
have a
all the
poisoner's kit.
secret stuff, and it's just
Yeah.
a vial with water, but you cast like the healing spell secretly as they drink it.
It's a lot
Yeah.
easier for JoJo to hide her Ashball than the rest of yours now.
Yeah, well, we're in like full tilt, like wrappings, and like we're going. It's kind of like I pictured it more like Arabian style outerwear. That's what I pictured. Am I correct, Adrian, or I'm not at all in the same realm of what I thought these outfits looked like?
Not really. If you look into basically like the southern area of Amaranth, which here, let me actually bring you to the world map.
Well, Matilda always wears gloves, so
And
Yeah, but you have a giant
My
tattoo on your
neckline?
neck right now.
I know, but there's also like garments you can get that like go up like really up.
That's
here.
what I'm trying to feel
Up
like
your
it.
throat.
What would work with what we're going into? Because if we're wearing something suspicious, they might look at us. So.
The clothing that you've made is like pretty much exact replicas of the ones that you had previously seen. But looking at the very southern coasts, this area is beset by storms. A lot of the people down here are sailors by trade. The clothing itself is very like thick furs. There's like some exterior leathers to attempt to keep water kind of just moving. But South Reach, the Shining Vale, and the Skylands are just constantly beset by oceanic storms. It's very cold, very muggy, so the clothing kind of works for that. The boots are thick, the clothing is thick. Everything is about keeping warm, keeping survival.
Oh, so it's cold out there. Okay, that's even better.
It's muggy and cold, yeah.
Yeah, Vincent just has layers and like turtlenecks and long sleeve shirts.
Just slightly to the north in the Shining Vale, there's like all of these
Actually, have
brilliant
cold weather
sunshine
wear.
that keeps the entire area very comfortable. But South Reach is actually quite rugged with storms, heavy winds. It's a rough place.
maritime winter.
So we never actually paid for these costumes, but Vincent has cold weather wear. Could I gain the benefits of like wearing both of them so that the actual mechanical benefits came through?
Out of cold weather wear would be literally like -40. Like that's like mountain climbing gear. It's not necessary here, from what you know about the climate. Yeah. But one way or the other, like 2 sets of clothing, you would not be able to wear.
Okay, I'm just confirming. Cool.
Yeah, Matilda would just like have a turtleneck.
Oh yeah, you're the resident herbalist.
Yeah.
So first off, I would say also with your knowledge check previously, Jojo, you're aware of the surrounding area of Ironhall somewhat. To the south of Ironhall is the Sun Fort, which is a southern kind of a southern outpost of Dianthus and Altisha. This entire area is very religious.
Mm-hmm.
To the west, you have Kelistrad, which is the next largest city in the area, and then Origin far to the north. which is like the next largest within the entire area. It's one of the main city sectors of the Shining Vale. Wherever you guys are just like, yeah, we're from here. The most likely that people would not pay any attention to you would be Fairhill, which is far to the north, small farming community, not a big deal. So you ascertain that it'd probably be the safest to be like, we come from this place where podunk nowhere, and we're looking for work.
Okay. Great.
If you mention that to us, we're also, I'm going to note, if things go awry, there's no like, let's just hop in the teleportation circle and go back. I'm sure once it's triggered, it can't be re-triggered to a certain time. And if we get into a situation where like we need to get out of that area, and we get separated, then I think maybe heading to the Fairhill area might be the best bet, just in case. And because we can't just go back to Amaranth. And on top of that, Vincent during this downtime would have let you guys know a little bit about his newer abilities. You might have heard him speaking in your mind. He wasn't using magic to do that anymore. It's just something he can do innately. Whether you ask him about it or not, that can be that. But if you guys ever get into a situation where you need help, something to say, he can aid you because he's very good at deceiving people. So just stay somewhat close to him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be more dangerous to go to Fairhill than to actually like find somewhere in the city that could get us out?
What do you mean by that?
Just so you're aware, they're close to 700 miles apart.
No, I understand. I just mean like this is like the worst case scenario. I'm not saying like if we get separated for an hour. I'm saying if the entire party, like people are killed, like if Jojo and Matilda are dead, me and Killing get separated, we would head there and then the mission would be borked and we'd make our way back to Amaranth. This isn't really a city we're going to, right? It's like an encampment.
Ironhall's a city.
Okay.
Ironhall's an old dwarvish city.
But it's still set in medieval time. Like it's not nothing like Amaranth, right?
No, you guys are hundreds of years hurtled into the future.
Okay, so expect it to just be like huts and small stone buildings. It's not going to be somewhere we can blend in very easily. Like
try not to be like, oh, I gotta send a spellogram.
Yeah, like don't talk about things out loud. Don't cast, because like even though it's a city, we'll stick out like a sore thumb.
On that note, Killian is just like, so what about me?
Do you want to be an old man? Or
do you think it'll work? It didn't work last time when we tried it on someone else.
Well, if he puts it on herself, I think it might work. I think it needed like I think it needs a word, like that I don't know, for me to put it on someone else.
You want to identify it, Killian?
Sure. Yeah, that might be best. I will identify it as a ritual.
You sit down on the corner of the street, and you just begin identifying this item, and people walk up, and you're like, you're doing identification. So they take out a short sword and place it down. They're like, how much do you charge for that?
We're kind of
I
on a time
imagine-
constraint.
How many people line up?
2.
2?
Yeah.
How much do I know how much the going rate is for identification?
No, I think you've always done it yourself.
Would Vincent have ever looked into that in the past?
Yeah, that's a good question. Killian just like in her mind is just like, Vincent, how much do people charge for identification? Quick.
I'm gonna roll a die to see if he's always in people's heads.
Yeah,
He
fate dice I
probably
think is good.
20 gold.
You do not know.
9 out of... Yeah, I wasn't in your head at the time. Sorry.
Matilda says 20 gold out loud.
Oh, but no one was asking that out loud.
The guy was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how much do you charge for that? And then
Yeah.
Matilda was like, 20 gold. And they're like, for both.
No, each.
They take their swords back and they leave.
Okay, good. We're on a time
Killian,
restraint.
you identify the mask.
Can we do this in the basement? You're doing it
Yeah.
as a ritual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go check in first.
Okay.
You go into the place, you meet with Cisco, who kind of welcomes you guys. It's a somewhat slow day, and as he looks towards you and leads you towards the back thing like a spy, he's just like, and just make sure no one's following. Someone like walks up and is like, "Excuse me, can I buy this flower?" And he's like, "You gotta fuck off! Can't you see I'm spying?" And there's like, "All right, jeez." And then they leave. As you guys are ushered down into the basement, he's like, "So you guys, you want me to like keep them away? You don't want no one else coming in here? You're gonna like, we're gonna do some secret stuff?"
Act like you don't know anything, Cisco. But also, if you don't hear from me for like a month, could you maybe, let's make it 2 months. If you don't hear from me in 2 months, maybe tell Ron what's going on.
And have a funeral.
Wait a second here.
And
How
have
long
a
is this
funeral.
actually going to take? You never actually told me.
I don't know.
So we'll just to Peru. I would like a certain end date. I don't want to be trapped out here for a year or 2. I have things I need to do.
A month. I'll give you a month.
It's a stretch.
Well, how about
but
we ask the other people when they show up?
Cisco's just like, it's big stuff you getting into, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all of us with our stuff and our pickaxes. Like,
You guys are gonna. I was like, Mystra. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of weighing down on me now, and I'm really. Are you sure you want to go do it? Although, your mom's there.
Yeah.
Can I come?
no.
That's probably a bad idea, right? Yeah. You gotta. Sometimes you just gotta let the kids fly the coop. When he places his hand on your probably hip and reaches up towards your shoulder.
He kneels down so he can put his hand
Thank
on
you.
her shoulder.
He leans in and gives you a hug and is like, "Give him hell, kid."
Will do.
Well, that's when it's needed. Yes.
Yeah, take this. It's my lucky charm. And he takes off like a woven necklace and gives it to you. It's got my halfling luck in it. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. Just keep that on you and you'll be safe, all right? 100% safe.
The sentiment is appreciated and very impractical.
Thank you. And as you guys make your way into the basement, Killian, as this is all going on, you finish your identification. This fractal mask of mirrors vaguely represents a human face, and on the inside contains this kind of softened, smooth stone etching. This mask is said to have been granted to the king of Enth by a mysterious god during his reign, so that he may never forget the faces of his enemies. And then as you finish the identification, a phrase comes to mind. They are coming for me, as you said they would. I will not stand for this madness. Answer me. Do not abandon me now. I will toll the bell once more upon them all. That is a quote by the Sovereign. The mask itself, don this mask to cast the Alter Self spell, change appearance only on yourself. That's all that comes through on the Identify spell.
Okay.
Maybe you need to attune to it first. So last time it was stuck on Jojo's face.
Jojo, do you secretly want to be an old man?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's cursed.
It
Or
is,
do you,
yeah.
or do you like, are you enemies with an old man?
Cisco takes the mask and is like, "You sure you don't want to?" You mentioned you put it on, you got cursed, and I felt pretty bad about that. You don't want like a refund? I can give you your money back.
Do you have an exchange for something else that would help with disguises?
I got a cheaper one, hat of disguise.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's
I
not-
think yeah, let's trade that for now.
Well, what does that do?
It lets you
self-spell.
cast a spell, yeah, just the one that disguises you. It's not like a physical transformation, but it's pretty
It's
good.
disguise self. How long does it last? Is it just at will? You can keep it up?
Yeah.
So
Until you
Killian,
take the hat
could-
off.
You could make yourself into some sort of like gnome. They have somewhat
Dwarf
pointed ears.
Would be better, maybe.
I speak gnome.
Oh,
so-
well then a gnome would be good.
Maybe
Yeah,
a
if you
dwarf
can
who was
speak
raised by
gnome.
gnomes.
Yeah.
You would look a little funky, but it would try and keep the changes similar to your own. So like your skin color and things like that. So if people touch you, it's not as jarring.
Okay. I guess the hat's better than the mask.
I think
Yeah.
in this case, yes.
Okay. I hand the mask over to.
Cisco, considering you
Whoever.
sold Jojo a cursed item. Would this one be on the house? The farewell gift.
I thought we were just doing a tradesy.
Don't say that. I hate the word on the house. He's looking at, I tell you what, vicious discount. In that I'm going to give you 270 gold.
Okay.
All right. He gives you back 270. Actually, this is an uncommon magic item. I'm just going to do my calculations here real quick.
Killian,
I'm just going to keep interrupting you with my thought process here. No, you can go ahead. Sorry.
Killian, did you tell me about the thing that they said that the mask told you? Okay.
Nope.
So, did you add any gold to your character sheet, Candace?
No.
Okay, you can add 310 gold.
Woo!
Nice.
And now I have all of that on me as we are about to go on this mission.
And you have a hat of disguise.
Well, Killian has it.
Do we know that Matilda's been like collecting, like, notes about, like, dungeon lore?
Yeah, every time that she's asked what they said, and I've written it down.
Would I have told then Matilda that thing?
That's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
You just roll a die if you're not sure. Fake
Sure,
die.
I'll roll a fate dice.
Okay. That's one thing too, is when you guys touch this thing, that same kind of phrase comes to mind. You don't gain all of the information necessarily.
Ooh, I don't
When
think
you-
he did. Or
When
she
you
did.
handed this mask back to Cisco, like he did not react at all. It seems like he did not hear anything this thing had to say to him.
But he's bound. Interesting.
Yeah, we've
This goes
noticed that
bound, yeah.
actually it doesn't matter if people are blinded. It seems like we're special in some way.
We're special. Oh my goodness. Special little snowflakes.
So Killian did not tell Matilda this information.
No, I think Killian was too distracted by the fact that there was a curse on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And as Cisco kind of heads upstairs and begins to play like linebacker, and then remembering that he's supposed to just play it cool, he just kind of hangs out in the area and leans against some things. And you can hear every now and then the sound of like goods falling and hitting the wood floor above you, echoing down the solid stone chamber that has been carved out to be completely smooth. And as you all find yourselves waiting here for the evening, you are going to await the arrival of the Mystra adventurers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it like if Vincent has his normal short bow and his rapier on him? Well, that like it's still dangerous in this area, right? It's not alarming
In where?
where we're going. South Rock.
Let me see.
Reach.
South Reach. Your rapier is very nice, which would draw attention to the fact that you're not a.
I'll just
you're not
bring
a
my
miner,
normal
but-
short bow then. It's just a normal ass short bow.
Okay. Yeah. Other than that, having weapons on you within this area, you're looking at medieval times. It's pretty common.
Okay.
Hunting rifle?
Hunting rifle is very advanced. Would likely, actually, within the area, and I'm giving you guys all this information because of JoJo's previous studies.
You are also going in as like saying you're a tinkerer. So
Tinker, yeah.
The very idea of this would tie you either directly to the royal family or to the Altician faith, which are the only people who would have the means to accomplish something like a gun or even tinkering within the area. Gnomes themselves tinker frequently. If you are trying to disguise yourself as a gnome, that would be much more reasonable for them to believe. Yeah.
I'll risk it for the biscuit then.
Okay. There will just likely be some inquisitions and being like, "Oh, you have a gun." Like, how did you, like, that would draw attention for sure. But
yeah,
like, don't want to not have a gun on you.
Yeah, put your eye in this end and see how it works. Keep asking questions.
You begin to hear footsteps traversing down the long stone pathway. They begin to echo out aggressively. You hear, as far as you can tell from your passive, 2 people who are beginning to approach. They round the corner,
in the back of
themselves.
in the
begin
back
to
of
move down
JoJo's
here.
head, she just hears, "How much do you want to bet it's Dallas again?"
No shot. No shot. I bet you I bet you 50 that it's not.
That it's not? Oh, dear. I'm not going to wage a bet that it's not in my favor.
Okay.
Let me scroll.
Oh, I want to hold a spell, but I won't because I don't want to get attacked.
Why do you want to just randomly shoot people
I
so
don't
much?
want to, but just in case they get hostile.
Then
I wanna
you
be
make
ready.
it hostile by doing that, though.
That's what I said. Why I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
I said I wanted to, but I'm not going
Like
to.
holding a gun up and being like, I'm doing it because I don't want
I
you
know.
to shoot me.
I know. That's why I didn't do it.
Sorry.
You guys are amazing. That's okay. You're buying me time. Oh, I put it all the way at the bottom, didn't I? Yes.
Oh my god, what if it's Darius? Or Darius?
There is no shot either. I think it's Orion, or what's his name? The guy from Mistra's family with the tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, the Orion, yeah.
The Orion, I like that a lot. Orion would like you. As you listen in, you hear two individuals begin to approach. First, you spot a halfling who begins to move in this just kind of like constant slow movement. And then behind you, you see a half-elven woman who continues to move forward, and a very stout-looking dwarvish man who is beginning to approach from the rear. And as they spot you in the corner, they kind of look to each other for a second and then look back down.
Hey.
How you doing?
Who are
Or
you?
Mistra's expecting us.
We heard nothing of this. How did
I'm
you get
sorry
down
you're
here?
kept out of the loop.
I mean, you're part of her family. I think she does that a lot.
They look towards each other and they're just like, did she
We're,
say anything cryptic to you recently? I was like, no.
Yeah.
To begin to think back.
Good job, Matilda.
We're Lavos's family. Rowena Manx is my mom.
We got one more coming.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Well,
They kind of like back over to the other side of the room and sit back and look at you.
I don't really want to spend the next, I don't know how long, just staring at each other. My name is Vincent Goldwater. I'll reach out a hand.
Everybody roll a group persuasion check. This is not entirely out of the ordinary, I suppose.
I'm not allowed to.
I'm a feather.
Oh, you guys can still open your character sheets.
Yeah, you press C on the keyboard. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Was it a persuasion?
Yeah, persuasion.
Group persuasion, yes. Killian, are you currently disguised or are you a goblin?
No, I'm still a goblin. I didn't want to start off lying.
Mm.
Can I guide myself? No.
That you would do it in front of them. You'd cast a spell and then go to talk to them. It would be awkward, I feel.
They kind of stop and they look towards everything that's happening. And they look back. The half-elven woman takes your hand and begins to shake it. The dwarven man moves just over to the side of the room. It's just like, not my business. And he sits down. I don't want anything to do with you. It's gonna get the job done.
Well, we're here to help, so it'd be better
Well-
if we knew each other.
They stop and they look back towards each other, exchanging glances briefly.
Vincent will smile at the half-elven woman. What's your name?
I'm Mackenzie. Mackenzie
Nice to meet
D. She takes your hand, gives it a brief shake. It's like, and he's Heath. Heath Regani. I'm a sorceress and he's a fighter. If you have any further questions, we can converse. I suppose in the brief few minutes. We are expecting one more, as we have said previously. They will be utilizing the tablets.
Sorry, what was her name again?
Her name is
Mackenzie?
Mackenzie D. A half-elven sorceress.
Mackenzie. If you guys don't mind us inquiring, but what rank are you? You'll see if you can see any of their tattoos.
Her tattoo is rather easy to see. It covers a large portion of her body. She seems to be at least 3rd rank. He's basically covered from head to toe in this just regalia, both. It seems like some hide underneath, but a hefty breastplate on top, some pauldrons. He's got gauntlets on and boots. He seems like literally ready to be dropped into the center of a war zone. But as he's looking towards the lot of all of you, he just kind of moves past and makes his way over into the other chamber and begins to, like, you hear him hit the central figure of Mystra that appears and begins to go over the orientation.
Oh, you guys haven't been briefed, I assume. You should go watch that, do you? You're gonna have to change.
They look back and forth into each other. Heath approaches you, Vincent, and is just like, listen, I don't like this. Wherever you are, whoever you are, I don't know why you're here. This ain't uncommon for our family to be dropped into the midst of something like this, but you're gonna stay the fuck out of the way. And if you risk fucking up this mission for a half a second and we lose family members over it, I'm gonna turn on you quick as I can. You understand me? Keep yourself. And remember where you stand. He turns and he takes your hand and fucking shakes it once and then turns and makes his way over back into the other room.
Yeah,
Just call if you need any help, love.
No answer. She looks towards you and she says, he's a bit abrasive, but he's not
It's
in.
fine. I deal with people like him all the time.
I deal with him all the time, so. You hear a third set of footsteps begin to approach from the rear, and coming through is a very impressive looking wizard who approaches a very young man, like late
Is this
20s.
Orion? Or the Orion?
I mean, you can. One of you will know eventually that one of the most famous people in Amaranth begins to stride down the steps before you.
It's like Dallas. Like, I figured Vincent would have just he's with his like background in name dropping, he'd know the most famous people within Amaranth is what I feel.
That's
Even
true.
more
Even
so.
as well.
Even more so than Dallas, JoJo is like fangirling on the inside and trying to hold her shit together.
This individual begins to stride forward, like late 20s, just short brown hair, but very, very just attractive in general. He's got kind of this like very kind of deep olive skin tone. And as he approaches, just got this light stubble across his face, hair pulled back, and like just a fucking pompous wizard hat on that he is wearing that you can almost feel is just like...
Is he the guy?
This is him.
How did I not recognize him before?
As he approaches, he did not look like this actually. As he approaches, you recognize him through the clothing that he's currently wearing in this just like aggressively pompous wizard hat. But when he moves in, his skin tone's slightly different, his eye color's slightly different, but he's immediately recognizable.
Is he the Orion? I'm just curious.
He is Orion.
Okay.
You guys don't know his real name, as he has only been known by his adventurer name, Orion, but as he approaches, he just gives a nod. It's like, the Lady of Mystery has requested my presence, so I'm here to teleport you fine people. Who are those? He points towards the other group.
JoJo gives him the same like
Hello, the
head
Orion.
nod she gave him in the dungeon.
Ah, right.
Hey.
You're here to teleport us too.
Here's the thing. Now I have to sit back and divine the lady's divine thoughts. All right.
In that room, she says like, and other people that will probably be coming, that is us.
Yeah, she knows we're here in love. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We're here to help, not hinder.
Good enough for me. He begins to move back, goes into the other room, and you hear him kind of just begin to fiddle with the ground as the just faint bit of stone lifts and the wooden boards. He pulls out the stone tablet, throws it under his arm, and begins to move in towards you all.
I have a quick question, Orion, if you don't mind.
Me too. Second rank?
Yeah, sorry. I've only been doing this for about a month.
It's pretty impressive. I've only heard of a few more like that within the last few years. Good job. Anyway, you had a question, but I'm not entirely sure that I can answer it. So instead, I'm going to say this. Everyone get your shit ready.
In his mind, he just says, "You're not going to tell us when we're coming back, are
Immediately
you?"
cut that off.
Ooh, interesting.
You connect in, it just breaks. Don't do that.
Waiting for one extra person.
I'm afraid not. I was the extra person.
Okay.
So there's how much do you guys know?
Basically, Jojo goes off. Jojo goes off.
She starts rambling.
The cart with the 1,000-fold tone came out of the city, and then they stopped producing, so Gon and Mystra can't continue their like airship thingy, and so like we're going to go fix that because there's maybe a rift there.
Okay,
right?
honor student, stop. Good job. You seem to know quite a bit. However, the two that were going to join us on this expedition, I had sent ahead to try and discern what was happening with Rowena and make contact. We have not heard from them. So 2 more in an advanced party to try and find the advanced party, and no contact. So we're looking at something a little bit dangerous. This might be why Mystra thought, they might be used.
Percentage that you think Rowena's alive.
Oh, Rowena?
Can I insight? Is he how
46.
He sounds truthful.
He does.
Too specific of a number.
Matilda nods and agrees. She bit her tongue to not say the math out loud first.
What
To be
was
honest,
what was your
that's
answer
pretty
going
good
to
odds
be?
in our line of
It
work.
was actually pretty similar. I think it was going to be about 44% chance.
That would have been so good if you guys said it at the same time.
But as he prepares, he looks onwards towards you guys. The other 2 go into the other room and begin to collect the stuff that was set there. You take note that as you approach those 4 boxes, all 4 still there. 2 of them get taken, and the other 2 kind of remain. 2 of you can take them if you wish.
Vincent's gonna eye Orion up as he's going about and doing his stuff, and just seeing if when he picks things up and like moves around, because he had like grabbed that tablet and stuff like that, and probably has to like maybe tinker with some stuff on the floor for the teleport. If he seems like he's wearing any of the rings, like the rings of mind shielding, that because I know that can go invisible, but that doesn't mean its mass doesn't change.
He's wearing quite a few rings on his hands, none of which are immediately recognizable. But you do know that is the tricky thing about magic items.
Well, the ring of mind shielding can go invisible on your finger.
Yes.
So
you
I'm
do
just
not
trying to
see.
if-
There are several rings on his finger. You don't recognize any of them. Is really what I'm going at there. So whether it's invisible or whether it's there but looks different, you don't know.
Oh, you can just change. I get it.
Magic
Interesting.
items change to suit their wielder, and all of this guy's clothing and articles seem to be like very matched, which makes it quite difficult. Does anybody have proficiency in Arcana?
Yeah.
Jojo. You may roll if you are attempting to discern this in the same way. You can roll an Arcana check.
I think she went to the chest.
Excellent. So as you are scouring through the chest, I will say this, Vincent, you can go ahead and roll perception, and Jojo, you take 2 of the chests.
I think I just want to take the medals and the spyglasses.
Okay. Spyglasses.
There's spyglass.
I think it's like an actual spyglass. It's not magical.
Scroll up. Yes, they are there. So you take 2 medals of meat pie. These are magic items. You can add them into your character sheet. Well, they're there. You can actually you can see them. You can copy them. 2 medals of meat pie, 1 medal of muscle, 1 medal of wit, and a spyglass, which is just a standard spyglass. Also looks rather old, has like a leather wrapping, in order to make it seem like it suits the time. And Vincent, as you are examining this individual, he looks back towards you and just kind of gives you a wink. And it's just like what you see?
Sorry, dear. You just intrigued me.
I do
And
that.
yes, you're not bad.
Thank you. I don't work out. I'm just talented. Then he begins to
I like
pour.
those.
He begins to pour through the things sitting in the side and just kind of stands up and is just like, all I gotta do is smash this thing. So as long as any of you are ready, I will be prepped. There is no, as far as we understand, long-range communication outside of Ironhall has come to pretty much an abrupt halt. So
Yeah, I forgot about that.
he places down 3 scrolls and says, 3 scrolls ascending here. They should allow you to reach me.
He holds up a stone of ascending as well.
Great. Where's the other one?
With our god, it's fine.
Okay. Can he teleport a large number of people at any
He can
given time?
teleport himself.
Okay. I'll just finish what I was saying. And we can all be impressive. If you need me, I will be able to return you back from the location. However, make sure that you're done.
What is the definition of done in this situation?
Mystra wants you, I guess, to enter into Ironhall. We've sent several advanced parties in an attempt to figure out what it is that's going on, none of which have really returned. So here's what I'm going to say. Enter Ironhall. Solve this problem. Any questions?
What if we don't solve it, but we find everyone and we want to get out?
Then you've failed, and I will bring you back, because loss of life is unacceptable.
Thank you. What I wanted.
You're most welcome. Nice to meet you.
Failure is important. You learn a lot from failure.
You do. You learn more from success. I've found that in my life. I failed a couple times, didn't care much for it.
Killian pipes up. She's like, I hear that. And she jingles in her pockets and gives each of the family members a platinum ring.
Oh.
Thank you, dear. What's this for? It goes
New
well
spell.
with my... Oh.
And she puts one on. They're not magical. They need to be on if it's a protection spell.
Okay.
Thanks,
Mm.
Killian.
And then she pulls her hat like super tight onto her head, and she like essentially turns into a gnome that looks like a pale-skinned goblin with blue eyes.
You know, if I was a part of a gnome family, I would probably be... You know, you're an odd bunch, but I think it'll do.
He looks at you and he's just like, great, I have no doubts about this mission. Most excellent. So,
Oh, how about a song to get us through this drab then? He's gonna whip around his lute and start playing a little bit.
I'm going to need to charge you for my time, I think.
He can keep doing what he wants to, but he's just gonna keep playing.
Oh, you've got the Vaseline out, Candace.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're back.
Yay!
Grease be gone. As he stands and prepares, looking on towards all of you, you begin to prep. There's still like a bit of tension with the dwarvish individual who was here before, but the half-elven woman seeing Orion show up and kind of almost take to you guys. I don't know if that was visible, but like he's like moving through it. There's a faint camaraderie in his assholishness. But as he awaits you guys, he stands back, moves on to the sigil, and during this period of time, kind of begins to attune to the magic teleportation circle that's been erected beneath the floor. One moment. As he takes the stone tablet in hand, he's like, as soon as I shatter this, everyone gather around.
There'll be
don't
anything
shy.
in the circle, correct?
You're going to want to jump on, for sure. This is actually going to create a circle. That circle's for me. It's my circle. Don't worry about my circle. Leave that one alone. In fact, and he's like, everyone get away from my circle. Like pushes you all into the center of the room. He's like, I'm going to smash this, and as soon as I do, it's going to create your circle. That's the one you can stand in, okay? Good.
And
Man, I'm glad we didn't step in that circle last time we were here.
Yeah, don't fucking step in that circle. That one's my circle.
okay, we've established this. I
Good.
can change the tempo of the music if you wish to hurry up.
Sounds good to me. Give me a staccato, bud. He leans back and just begins
Gives him
to
a staccato.
snaps the center of it, and as soon as he does so, the energy within just immediately turns down into a central circle, which he like just jumps out of immediately, and it's just like, remember, you got 3 scrolls ascending. Send me a message if you need my help. Everyone go,
Mo, hold
go.
on to my shoulder.
Mo jumps on, and as soon as like you can feel the weight of him, but he's been invisible this entire time.
Yeah, he said that in his mind, by the way.
You guys all traverse into the circle, and one at a time, boom, 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 you disappear.
Right before I disappear, Matilda's been having a conversation with the people in her head because this guy's so annoying that they're all like bitching about it in her head. And as an issue before she goes in, she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the hat's competing for something. And then boom, through the portal.
And as you pass through the energy, you feel your bodies woof, lift up immediately and woof, slam down as you begin to hear the rustling of trees around you. And they just rust the vicious blowing of winds from the rear that almost push you forward. You can feel the grass and just the soggy dirt underneath your feet, the faint shuffling of carts in the distance along a distant road. And as you find yourselves, you take a smell of the air around you and just like dense forest, thick with fog and water. The early morning begins to beset, and as you travel this vast distance across the area, bathed in sunlight, looking onwards, you see plumes of smoke in the distance, carrying off just beyond the forest where you find yourselves. And that is where we will end today's session.
Right.
I'm
One
coming,
small
Mom.
thing to note: as soon as we go to teleport, Vincent stops playing. He doesn't want to just like alert everyone to our vicinity as soon as we get there.
Oh.
One big thing to note, as you guys land, you wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. The other people are not with you.
Like
Oh.
the other two?
The other two are not with you.
They went in
Through
first,
before or
right?
After us.
They went in after you guys.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Damn, Orion.
Shit. Can we investigation check that now or wait next time?
Next time.
Oh, no.
Orion!
Where are we? Are we
Who
even
got
where
the
we're
scrolls of
supposed to be?
sending, by the way?
He just placed them down. Whoever wanted to grab them could. He didn't like stop anyone. He just gave 3 scrolls of sending down. I think probably the
Shit.
other 2 would have taken 1 each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
And then your group
Maybe
got 1.
JoJo can grab the other one.
Until next time, thank you all for coming in this cleanup episode that we did. And I hope you all are as happy as Beans is to be here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Uh,
Bye.